Yeah,
We also have.
our secretary sir has joined. Sir, we welcome you. Sir, are you there?
Thank you, thank you.
Sir,
Thank you. I am listening to you.
जी sir, namaskar
Thank
sir.
you. I am listening to you. I have joined you.
Thank you sir.
May I request Dr. Rupam Soti, who is a coordinator NAC committee of the college, to please welcome our secretary sir, Shri Vedpal Singh ji. Over to you, ma'am.
रूपम मैम एक सेकंड प्लीज. रूपम
जी
बिकॉज सर ने अभी ज्वाइन किया है तो सर को बताना मेरा फर्ज है. सर फर्स्ट सेशन हमने अभी
जी
कंडक्ट किया और फर्स्ट सेशन के जो रिसोर्स पर्सन थे वो डॉक्टर अमित कुमार जी हैं. He is the faculty in the Department of Chemistry in Central University of Haryana and is a wonderful researcher. He has 6 patents to his credit and 1 patent has been awarded to him from United States of America. And of course, 3 are already awarded and 3 are published. Sir. And he has to his credit 64 publications and he has been a great contributor to IQAC there at Central University of Haryana and MIT University, Noida. And he is an emerging scientist and I am very proud to be associated with my dear friend Dr. Amit ji. So this is about Amit ji.
Good, very good, Paji. Thank
जी.
Yes.
Yeah, Rupa ma'am, please.
जी सर. सभी को नमस्कार. मैं डॉक्टर रूपम सोती आज की इस एक दिवसीय राष्ट्रीय कार्यशाला में आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत करती हूँ. महाविद्यालय की आंतरिक गुणवत्ता आश्वासन प्रकोष्ठ वेल नोन एज IQAC के द्वारा ये एक इनिशिएटिव लिया गया है. हमारे कुशल और कर्मठ प्राचार्य प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर संजीव कुमार जी के कुशल निर्देशन में इस कार्यक्रम का आयोजन किया जा रहा है और ये हमारे लिए बहुत ही हर्ष और सम्मान का विषय है कि आज हमारे इस कार्यक्रम में हमें आशीर्वाद देने के लिए हमारे साथ हमारी प्रबंधन समिति के सचिव माननीय श्री वेदपाल सिंह जी जो हमारे आज के अध्यक्ष भी हैं आज के कार्यक्रम के. मैं उनका बहुत बहुत स्वागत करती हूँ. सर आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है और मैं आपको नमन करती हूँ हमारे पूरे अमीर भोज परिवार की तरफ से. और वैसे तो आपका नाम ही काफी है आपके परिचय के लिए लेकिन फिर भी मैं आप ही की इजाजत से आप ही की अनुमति से 2 शब्द आपके लिए कहना चाहूंगी सर.
ओके.
श्री वेदपाल सिंह जी आप उत्तर प्रदेश माध्यमिक शिक्षा सेवा चयन बोर्ड के सदस्य रहे हैं. गौतम बुद्ध नगर के प्रथम जिला पंचायत अध्यक्ष होने का गौरव भी आपके पास है तथा आपने दुजाना इंटर कॉलेज के प्रधानाचार्य पद को भी सुशोभित किया है. आप मिहिर भोज बालिका डिग्री कॉलेज के संस्थापक सचिव भी रहे हैं. आप विभिन्न राज्य एवं केंद्र स्तर के स्कूल में विभिन्न पदों को सुशोभित करते हुए वर्षों से शिक्षा की सेवा करते रहे हैं. आप न केवल एक कुशल शिक्षक बल्कि खेलों के विषय में भी अपनी विशेष रुचि रखने के लिए जाने जाते हैं. आप एक सक्रिय सामाजिक कार्यकर्ता हैं. उसके रूप में भी आपका समाज में एक बड़ा योगदान है. आप एक ओजस्वी वक्ता हैं, कुशल निर्देशक हैं, स्नेहमयी मार्गदर्शक हैं, सौम्य एवं सादगी से परिपूर्ण व्यक्तित्व के स्वामी हैं, निरंतर समाज एवं महाविद्यालय के हित का गहन चिंतन करने के वाले गंभीर चिंतक हैं और हम सभी के प्रेरणा स्रोत हैं. मैं ऐसे व्यक्तित्व श्री वेदपाल सिंह जी का पुनः स्वागत करती हूँ. सर आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है.
थैंक यू.
और हमें आशीर्वाद देने के लिए आपने समय निकाला इसके लिए भी आपका धन्यवाद सर. जी सर.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome you, sir. Now may I call Dr. Priyanka Yadav to introduce the resource person for the second session of the workshop. Priyanka.
Thank you very much, Samir. We have with us one of the most dynamic librarian, Dr. Santosh from Central University of Haryana. So before proceeding, before telling you more about him, I should first tell about the work he is associated with. So he is a librarian, Central University of Haryana, as I already told you, ex officio member, Academic Council, ex officio member, Code Director, Publication Division, Director, Granth Academy, Chairperson, Media and Outreach, Senior Coordinator, Office of International Affairs, Nodal Officer, NIRF, Coordinator Research and Publication Ethics course UGC mandate, Coordinator Online course in books publishing jointly with NBT. These are the responsibilities sir is carrying. So a little bit glimpse about him. He is one of the most dynamic librarian, and he's the one who made the Central Library a happening place by introducing course on research, publication and ethics for all the research scholars of Central University of Haryana. As a director IQAC and director publication division, he introduced various initiatives in collaboration with National Book Trust, and he is playing a pivotal role in translation of scientific and technical books in various regional languages. Our resource person and our principal, sir, have worked closely in devising the roadmap for implementing of national education policy at university level and shaping the vision of emerging Central University of Haryana. And apart from that, I have little more to say about him. I would like to read the resume if everyone permits. Can I go through that? Because
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
much more to tell about, sir. Let me give you a quick brief. Dr. Santosh is a gold medalist and a rank holder in Masters of Library and Information Science 2004 from Karnataka University and PhD from the University of Mumbai in 2017. He also holds Masters in Mass Communication and Journalism and Diploma in Management. He started his career as documentation assistant at RBI's IGIDR Mumbai from 2004 and British Council Library, Mumbai, 2005. As librarian, he served NK College Autonomous, Mumbai for 13 years. At present, he is University Librarian of Central University of Haryana. He has published 24 papers, I wish I could have that, 24 of paper, co-edited half a dozen conferencing proceedings and completed 2 minor research projects. He reviews scholarly journals too. He has diverse 110 plus invited talks at universities, UGC, HRDCs, B schools, etc. He's also a blogger, and his articles are published on the Impact blog of London School of Economics. He is editor of Open Interview, a crowdsourced blog for interviewing expert. His interview of Peter Super is featured on Harvard University website. He's also the editor of Open Commentaries, a blog created by him for publication commentaries on academia and research. He has organized several workshops, devised and organized highly impactful source for researchers, educators, and librarians. He is also actively engaged in voluntary projects and open consultancies. He is passionate about his teaching, training, and blogging. So, very warm welcome to you, sir, and it's an honor to have you here. And I should rest my words now, and may I invite Dr. Santosh. Sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Hope my voice is clearly audible.
Of course, yes, it's audible.
Yeah. I deem it my privilege to visit Meherboj College a second time. I visited personally and now I'm visiting online. So it's a great pleasure because my mentor and my guide is there, Professor Sanjeev Kumar sir. So thank you so much. It's a wonderful feeling. Respected Vedpal Singh sir, Secretary of Meherboj College. My mentor, Professor Sanjeev Kumar, and all the IQAC officials, especially the organizing team, very dynamic. Priyanka madam said she used dynamic word many a time, but in fact she is very dynamic. So Dr. Priyanka Yadav, Dr. Rupam Soti, Ms. Pragati Singh,
Mr. Sumay Singh and Dr. Chandra Singh, and all the IQAC members of this prestigious college, and faculty members, researchers, and students friends. Friends, I'll share my PPT and we'll start this session. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. Friends, first of all, I compliment each one of you for organizing this intellectual property workshop. That's very, very important workshop, I should say, because many of the institutes are yet to organize these kind of events. I always feel that workshops on plagiarism, workshops on open access resources, workshop on IPR, these are very, very important for the educators and the learners and the researchers. Friends, we are living in the age of knowledge economy. Okay, so we use a lot of hyperbolic words to denote or indicate this particular age. We say that we are living in the age of uh, local village, global village, Google, information age, knowledge society. So we use a lot of hyperbolic words because we have utilized and we are using technology like anything. And because of the technology, this learning or the education sector or any sector you say has been highly impacted. And that is the reason this learning process has been very fast. Now, why I'm saying this, because of internet, we have got a lot of platform to share a lot of resources. Now, friends, there is one theory called knowledge doubling curve that says that the knowledge is doubling every 13 months. And again, under that particular banner, there are different schools of thought that say that knowledge is doubling every month. Then the important question is, who is adding knowledge to the existing stock of knowledge? It is we are adding knowledge. It is you as a student, as a layman, as a researcher, as a trainer, as a lawyer, as a doctor. So every person is adding one or other input on the existing stock of knowledge. It could be in the form of comment on Facebook, or it could be in the form of comment on blog, or a small piece of article, or any review made on any particular paper or anything, or speech. Now, if you simply observe during this pandemic, a lot of people hooked to online resources. Everybody started speaking on a screen because they had never done this before. Means they were very much afraid of screen and giving into kind of things, giving speeches, lectures online, wherein their face is coming, where their body language is shown to everybody. So these kind of content is adding like anything, and that is the reason we are seeing this big data concept. Now, why I'm saying this, because I wanted to set a background for this particular presentation. I have not moved to the second slide. I'm just still staying on the first slide itself for a moment. Now, if you simply see the number of photographs being uploaded on Facebook, or if you see the number of videos we are uploading on YouTube, you'll be very much surprised. On Facebook, every minute we are adding more than 2 lakh photographs. And on YouTube, per minute we are adding 100 hours of videos. And if you want to see videos, all the videos uploaded on YouTube of one day, it requires more than 15 to 18 years to watch all the videos those are uploaded on YouTube. Now, friends, why I'm saying this, because when knowledge is available like anything, when knowledge is available in different formats, in online formats, and even in the libraries and information centers, now there is a threat to it. The threat is that anybody can use different techniques, tactics, platform, technology, idea strategically to copy and claim that this is mine. This I have done. The owner of this particular product is me. So these kind of issues are cropping up. There are a lot of issues happening in academic world. There are a lot of challenging areas that are really bothering the academic administrators as far as plagiarism is concerned, copyright violations are concerned, and many other aspects related to this plagiarism and copyright. Now, in this presentation, friends, what I'm doing is I'm going to focus more on copyright aspect because my colleague, Dr. Amit Kumar, very beautifully and very elaborately shared different dimensions of IPR. So what I'm going to do in this presentation is I'm going to share my ideas on copyright and open license through the perspective of an information professional. So I am working in this profession from last 1.5 decade. So I have seen different areas, potential areas wherein we can do well, wherein we can address some issues, burning issues. So based on that, I'm sharing my ideas. So this presentation is basically meant for educators, but this doesn't mean that the researchers can't learn from this. The learners can't learn from this. The students can't learn from this. So I have simplified many of the concepts related to copyright and open licenses. And that too, these issues or these concepts are really going to help you in your research and publication activities as well as teaching activities. Friends, in this presentation, what I am doing is I'm not claiming that I'm an expert in IPR. I don't have any patents on my name, but I have a very strong experience dealing with the researchers, dealing with educators as far as copyright and open licenses are concerned. And I'm a strong advocate of open licenses. So you will understand what is open licenses, what is open access movement, how you can be part of that open access movement. Is it an association or is it a union? So we'll be discussing about that. So I'll be sharing in this presentation important concepts related to copyright and open license. And I have shared some links which are really going to help you out in understanding more about the licenses. In majority of the slides, I have put in the links of the websites wherein I have taken some sources, so you can refer them later. Third important thing is that this particular presentation is introductory in nature. There is a lot to learn, but my only focus is that to create awareness about copyright. Because even as a student, as a learner, even if somebody is speaking on IPR, I always feel that it is more technical. It is very difficult to understand and difficult to comprehend. So this is a common feeling we always get in. But the thing is that as a learner, as a student, as a writer, as a speaker, as a publisher, we all need to know about copyright. We need to know basics about this. So the main purpose of this presentation is creating awareness. So I'll be making this presentation as an introductory presentation. So I'll be focusing on copyright and open licenses, and understanding different concept is very, very important. If your basics are very strong, you can understand anything. Anybody who is talking on IPR, you will really understand what exactly he is telling. It could be related to infringement, it could be related to adoption, it could be related to copyright addendums. So there are different terminologies which are usually read out or usually published, usually found in the literature, but you feel it very easy to understand once you focus on this particular presentation. Now friends, why this IPR is required for an educator? Who is an educator? This is very, very important question. Who is a researcher? That's also an important question. Educator is one who understands the things first, who puts in a lot of effort to understand first, who teaches himself first, and then he tries to create awareness. Then he tries to share his information. And who is researcher? A researcher is one who questions everything, who has the skill of asking questions. Is it right? Why it is right? When it was right? How it should be made right? So he has a lot of questions and he wants to explore answer for that. So that is a researcher. Researcher is not that person who is doing PhD. Researcher is not that person who is guiding PhD students. Researcher could be a layman. A farmer is also a researcher because he has not lost the value or the instinct or the feature of asking questions. In this presentation, I'm also speaking on copyright and fair use because we have a lot of confusion. Every time we want to cite anything, we are afraid because are we infringing the copyright when we are using certain portion of the text from the source? So that also we'll address. We'll see what is this registration, what is retraction, what is addendum. So these kind of concepts we'll understand. These seem jargons, but it is very, very easy to understand these things once we focus on some examples that I'm going to share. Copyright is very, very important, and it is one of the significant parts of any research process and publications. So research and publications are very, very important segments in academic sector. So you can't ignore copyright and plagiarism aspects. That also we'll see. And there are different copyright tools. So there are learning tools to understand what is copyright. There are some tools wherein you can generate some agreements. That agreement could be between the institute and the author, or between publisher and the author, or any other parties. There are different tools to learn. There are different tools to understand. There are different tools to learn and teach. So that also we'll see. I'll be sharing enough information on that. So friends, this presentation is required for creating awareness. It is required for self-learning. And also to know different sources that are available, platforms available. So this will help you teach. This will help you train. So next time when you organize this particular workshop, you need not invite Dr. Amit or Dr. Santosh because already you are trained. So you can take this further, you can add some other component, and then you can teach. So that is the spirit of this kind of workshop. And I know the way, the concern that Professor Sanjeev Kumar sir has, that this kind of workshop should lead or encourage the teachers to continue this training trend in the college. Friends, you all know this personality very well. Okay, hope you know this personality. This is Obama. Now, before I go to copyright, let me discuss about plagiarism because that is quite connected and we have a lot of confusion related to plagiarism. Now, why I showed this person's image, because I want to connect to the realistic picture of our own country. Dr. Barack Obama was accused of plagiarism because during the presidential election, he spoke, and in his speech, what he did is he used certain sentences or words or statements or ideas of Hillary Clinton. And later, Hillary Clinton complained that Barack Obama plagiarized my statements. And later on, Obama says that even in some of the speeches of Hillary Clinton, she also used my words. But I did not say anything to that. Now, why I'm saying this? Because, friends, in the West, plagiarism, copyright are very, very serious matter. Now, you just take a pause and just introspect yourself. Where do we stand? If I use anybody's words or statement, so is there anybody who can accuse me saying that Santosh has plagiarized? Because in India, we have different misconceptions related to plagiarism. We think that plagiarism or copyright is concerned with only the printed matter, published matter, research thesis, dissertation, project paper, working paper, preprint, postprint. So we have confined this particular concept to these areas only, but it is beyond that. It is beyond that. That shows that we are not that serious. So that is the reason this workshop is organized for the educators, researchers, and students. Now, I just want to motivate you. I just want to show the realistic picture as how plagiarism is very, very rampant, and how copyright is also equally important in the lives of the researchers and the teachers. Now, in these initial slides, I'm touching some important points on plagiarism. I just wanted to share some cases here, friends. The first case is very, very important. These are the random. I have randomly picked some news clippings on Google. So the first one is Tulsidas accused of plagiarism. You just imagine, friends, you just imagine how come Tulsidas is accused of plagiarism? Is plagiarism that relevant to Tulsidas? You know when Tulsidas lived. Now, the reason behind this kind of accusation is that Valmiki wrote Ramayana and Tulsidas wrote Ramcharitmanas. And if you see, I know many literature students are there, and Professor Sanjeev Kumar sir is himself from literature. So you all can understand that the plot, the characters, okay, the story, the entire scene, everything is quite similar to the Valmiki's Ramayana in Tulsidas Ramcharitmanas. Now, in the modern times, if you consider this particular case in the modern time, you will really understand that yes, Tulsidas has plagiarized. But friends, India has very, very interesting and very, very, I should not use the word strange, but very flexible learning or sharing environment. Here we say that the knowledge should not be kept in a cupboard. It should not be hidden. Okay, the knowledge should be shared. And even if you do not name whose knowledge it is and whom it belongs, so it is immaterial. It's okay, no problem. Means if you have learned something from me, you need not say thanks for that. You just keep on sharing that. So India believes in continuing sharing knowledge. But in the modern times, when this copyright came in the picture, when patent kinds of things came in picture, right from the beginning of this invention of printing machine, right from the beginning of the computer, when we invented computer, right from the beginning of inventing internet. So we started getting information, we started adding information to the existing stock of knowledge. Then that threat started. People started getting claims, getting promotions, getting benefit. So now the person who has created it, he felt offended and he tried to sue or he tried to protect. And that is the reason this legality has come in picture. So this particular slide is just to encourage you to say that even after completing your PhD, even after 10 years, somebody may claim that, somebody may accuse, somebody may appeal, somebody may complain that you have plagiarized something. So that is a serious issue. So what is the solution for this? The solution is awareness. The solution is ethically right. We should be ethically right. So this is about plagiarism, and also it was connected to copyright a little bit. Now, if you simply read this, you will understand. And I think you all have experienced in one or other incidents in your life. How would you feel if someone copied your poem without your permission and got praised by a teacher? This is very strange. Even my daughter, she always complained that when I show my sketch to a teacher, she or he doesn't appreciate. He or she simply says that, okay, acha hai. But my daughter expects more from them, that they should pat her back, they should appreciate like anything. So this is the basic common need or emotional need we expect from others. But in this case, when you have written a poem, but somebody has copied and he is praised, and you feel very bad about it. Similarly, if you put that picture in academic sector, in your own profession, if your idea is copied, okay, if your idea is copied and it is not acknowledged and it is claimed that this is mine, so you feel shattered. You start exploring the legal options as whether I can take any action or not. And that is the reason this law has come in the picture. The law is bad. Why law is bad? Because it unnecessarily creates some turbulence, disturbance, misunderstanding. But law is required because to save somebody. So we have this kind of dilemma in the modern times. Friends, you all know, I think you must be knowing her. Can anyone name who is she? Any answer? Hope my voice is audible.
Yeah, you are audible, sir. J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So this is J.K. Rowling, friends, one of the celebrated authors. I think a very leading author. Okay, there are a lot of great authors in the world, right from Shakespeare to Wordsworth and many other people. But in the modern times, the way she wrote books, okay, and the way she earned money, made name. So that is I think a huge success. I think so. Why I'm showing this particular example here because her books are translated into 80 languages. That's really a great credit. But here, I wanted to show you something else. The thing is that she owns the copyright on her book, but there are a lot of other rights. Okay, by selling that, she is earning like anything. Okay, so copyright is not a single word. The word says that copyright is a singular term, but in fact, it is a copyrights because there are a lot of hidden rights are associated with that. If you read this paragraph, you can understand how different products are made, how movies are made, how cartoons are made, how you can say comics are made, how toys are made. Okay, so how these robots are made using the concepts or using the ideas of the Harry Potter series. Okay, so she has got all the rights. She is selling the particular right under the copyright. So we'll be understanding that one by one later. So when this copyright is required, okay, why this copyright is required? For whom it is required? It is required for everybody. Okay, it is required for even industrialist also. It is required for one who wants to establish an industry. It is also required for an entrepreneur. It is also required for a researcher, teacher, or everybody. And even to use something, the knowledge of copyright is required. For example, I am doing research, okay, and I wanted to take one particular poem from one particular book and I want to put. And now I have a confusion. Is it considered as plagiarism? Is it a copyright violation? I do not know because I'm not trained. So that is the reason, even for the user, understanding copyright and plagiarism is very, very important. And we should be very, very cautious and we should be very, very mindful. So especially for the educators, because I'm addressing educators and the researchers especially, because we are learned people, we are working in college and universities. And if we do not know, if we misunderstanding this copyright and if we simply claim that I got doctorate, then that is not at all useful. Friends, I always believe that common sense is more important than knowledge. So this common sense is very, very important. What is that common sense? Our basic should be very strong. Anything that is related to our research, it could be copyright or patent or anything, I should be aware of that. You need not be master of that, but you should be knowing something about everything. So the first and foremost thing is that while using, we need to be aware about copyright and plagiarism and other aspects. And we should be very cautious and mindful when we are using anything that is associated with copyright or plagiarism. And in research and publishing, this is very, very important. You may say that, sir, I am not interested in research. I don't want to write anything. I am not interested in doing research, but I am a very good teacher. Many of my students are, they love my lecture like anything. Even students from different classes, they come to my class and they sit and they understand because I am a very good teacher. But friends, now the meaning or the definition of good teacher has changed now. You can have n number of ethically associated definitions of a good teacher, but if you be a realistic person, the meaning of good teacher has changed. A meaning of good teacher is one who teaches well, who writes well, who also involves himself in research, because our promotions are completely based on this teaching, research, and publication. And that is the reason I always say and believe that we need to have TRP. You all know that TRP, what is TRP in media, okay? Every person has to have TRP, that is teaching, research, publication activities. So I am bound to have that TRP component in me, whether you are teaching part-time, full-time, guest lecturer, or you are a senior professor, or you are emeritus, or you are vice chancellor. If you are not involving in TRP, then there is no way. So when copyright is required when you are sharing your rights. For example, J.K. Rowling, okay, somebody approaches and asks her that I want to prepare, or I want to have a comic series on Harry Potter. So I need a right from you. Okay. So like, see, in a similar way, many people may approach in a many for many products. So for that, you need to share some right. Whether you are sharing or not, it is up to you, because you hold the copyrights. So when you want to share the rights, first of all, we need to know what is copyright, okay, and what is that sharing. So what is the potentiality of that copyright, that also we need to understand. When you want to republish, okay, you need to be aware of copyright. When we want to have the derivatives, for example, I have written a research paper. Now I want to bring a derivative of that. A simple example is this. I have written a book, or I have written a paper that is published with Springer. Okay, the name of the publisher is Springer. Springer has published that paper. Now I want to bring a derivative of that. Derivative means what? Based on that particular paper, I want to write a blog article, but the copyright is held by the publisher. The copyright is taken from the author and it is with the publisher. The copyright of that particular paper is with the publisher. Then I am bound to ask him that please help me, please give me rights to convert it as a paper, as an article, a blog article. So you need to seek permission. In case if you are holding the copyright with you, you can bring derivatives. Okay, you can write a story on that. You can prepare a song. Okay, you can create cartoons. You can create animated files. So these kind of derivatives can be possible when you have the copyright. When you do not have copyright, you need to seek permission. Okay, for that you may pay. So that is why this commercialization comes in picture, and Dr. Amit has rightly discussed about various aspects of commercialization and bulk sharing. So again, here also the copyright comes in picture. Bulk sharing means I have one article with me, but I don't hold the copyright of that. Okay, copyright is held by somebody. So I want to share in a very big conference or training program. I need to have that particular permission or right. Adaptations. So what kind of adaptations? Adaptations or derivatives are almost similar. So what kind of adaptations I want to bring in of my particular work? Okay, and even transferring rights, we need to be aware of the transferring rights. For example, I hold the copyright. Now I want to transfer this right to somebody. So this is completely a legal process. So you need to be aware of what is this addendum, what is this agreement, what is the legal process involved in transferring rights, and how I should comply this, when I should transfer this, and what are the benefits for transferring this, and am I going to get any money or not. So these aspects are a little bit related to legality. So all these aspects somewhere connected with economic value. Okay, why I'm sharing this when copyright? Because as a copyright holder, okay, as a user, as a publisher, as an industrialist, so we all need to know about republishing, derivatives, adaptations, bulk sharing, transferring. All these aspects are very, very important. So as I said initially, that we need to understand these concepts very well. In case if you do not understand now, you can explore later that, okay, these kind of concepts are associated with copyright and I need to be aware of that. So what are the challenges for academic industry? Okay, now academic sector has become an industry. Okay, so I have purposely used this word industry. Okay, even there are a lot of fielders, lot of academic entities who are commercially running the institutes. Okay, so I'm not saying that in that angle, but academic as a field, we are facing many challenges. The policy is not in place. Many of the higher education institutes, they lack copyright policy. Even plagiarism policy is lacking. If we have that plagiarism policy, the implementation is a challenging issue. Complying is a challenging issue. Taking action is again a challenging issue. I'm not giving you very negative aspect of academic industry, but this is a realistic picture. Though we have UGC regulation of 2018, many universities, they are yet to follow those kind of guidelines to implement. So we need to have policy, we need to take action if any infringement take place, because it is all because our name is at stake. Okay, so name and fame is also a matter of concern for us. Name of a person or a researcher and fame of an institution. So the issue is that again, we have poor or limited awareness about this plagiarism or copyright. So that is the reason these kind of meaningful workshops should be organized, and I compliment all the team members of Professor Sanjeev Kumar sir for organizing these kind of event, and I'm sure he is going to conduct series of lectures associated with this concept, unless and until everybody understand the aspects of this, and then they become the trainer. Okay, then they train others, and they do not invite us. Okay, so this is what I feel, that if they become trainer, then they can continue this chain or continue this trend. So seriousness is lacking in the industry. As I gave initially, I gave an example of Barack Obama. We are not that serious. We are not that serious that, okay, if somebody is copying, okay, we say yes, but in future we may face problem. I think you all are aware of UGC's recent move. I think in 2019 it said that we are going to review all the PhD awarded theses of last 10 years. And that is very, very strange decision. And friends, in future, this may definitely happen, that UGC may say that you all teachers who are getting promotion, who are getting UGC grant, you all need to upload your papers on a repository, on an institutional repository. You need to make them public. So this may also come in picture. So that time we are going to face the music, because if we have not written the proper paper, if we have plagiarized, if we have not followed ethical standards, then that will be a big challenge for that. The solution is this, that we need to be very, very ethically right to write, do research and teach. In all this TRP aspect, we need to be very, very proper. And there are a lot of journals that are mushrooming like anything. Many predatory journals are coming up in the market, and this has become a big challenge for academic industry, because the teacher or the scientist or the researchers, they are simply unknowingly, unintentionally publishing it in a journal, in an XYZ journal, but later on they come to know that this particular article is published in a fake journal. So this is fake journals or questionable journals, predatory journals, illegitimate journal has become a challenge for academic industry. And a lot of infringement issues are also there, which are to be addressed. Universities are getting complaints on plagiarism. Universities are getting complaints on infringement. Very petty complaints are also coming up. I'll be sharing some cases later. So what will happen? The disciplinary action will be taken against them in an academic setup. So their article may be rejected, they may be suspended, they may be terminated. So retraction can happen. Retraction, the meaning of retraction and why retraction is important in academic sector in publication activities. I'll be discussing it later. So these are the basic challenges that are faced by the academic sector. So I request all of you to read this particular document, that is Intellectual Property Issues for Higher Education Unions, a primer. So in my presentation, what I'm doing is I'm giving you supporting documents also to justify as well as to understand more about the details that I'm sharing in this presentation. So whenever you find time, whenever it is convenient for you, please explore these kind of documents. And I have shared the URL in each and every slide. Friends, you know NEP very well, National Education Policy, and I could learn ABCD about NEP because I closely work with Professor Sanjeev Kumar sir, and he trained me and he made me understand different segments of this, and I'm thankful to him. Now, why I'm showing you this, because this vision of this policy is very, very important. Particularly, this sentence is very important. The vision of the policy is to instill among the learners a deep-rooted pride in being Indian, not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, and deeds, as well as to develop knowledge, skills, values, and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development and living, and global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. So there are these seem 4 lines, but herein everything is spoken. Ethical aspects are spoken, how we need to be ethically right in TRP, teaching, research, and publication. And for that, why this copyright plagiarism things are very, very important. So in order to have a very sound intellect field, intellect community, okay, skill-based community, knowledge-based community, values-based community, so to protect human rights. So we need to adhere to all these aspects of IPR. So IPR, in fact, is one of the components of ethical aspects of academic and research component. There are many other aspects, okay. We have code of conduct, standards, citizen charter, standard operating procedures, okay. So there are many aspects. Policies are there, guidelines are there, statutes are there, constitution, acts, bills, many things are there. So anything that is concerned with us, we need to adhere to that, we need to follow that, we need to respect that. So when teacher requires this, so already I have spoken about this, I'll simply wrap up this, that especially for teacher, understanding copyright is very, very important. When he wants to teach and train, that time it is required, because even you don't want to learn copyright, but if somebody stands up in the class and asks anything related to copyright, if we do not have answer, then that will be a big embarrassment. So I'm not saying that you should be expert in IPR, okay. I know some of you belong to humanities, Hindi, Sanskrit, English, yoga, or some other areas wherein this patent concept is not at all necessary, okay. And some of you may belong to science, okay. For you, copyright and patent and all these things are important. But generally speaking, a researcher and teacher, they need to understand why this copyright, knowledge of copyright is required. So when we are teaching, when we are training, when we are answering the basic petty queries, so we need to be aware of this copyright. And also to create awareness, this is very, very important. This is hamara daitv hai. This is our responsibility. This is our responsibility. Nobody should force you that, okay, you arrange this program. Nobody should force that you talk on this. Nobody should force that you sit and learn. Because this is all required things. Because when I sign the agreement, when I join the university, that means I am adhering to all these aspects. I am ready to learn, I am ready to relearn, I am ready to unlearn. So that should be the aspect. So while writing paper, while dealing with publisher, because as I said that to become a teacher, you need not simply teach. You should also involve yourself in teaching, research and publication activities. So you are going to deal with a publisher. So for that reason, you need to know a little bit about the copyright. So while writing paper, while doing research, while signing the agreement with the publisher, many of the agreements we do not read because it runs to 10 pages or 12 pages. We do not understand that, even whether it is insurance policy or any policy that for that matter. When you are creating a bank account, you simply say yes. Even while creating email, we do not read anything, so you'll simply say yes and we say agree, allowed. Even when we download any app, we say allow. So when it comes to agreement, when you are a very sound author, very good author, and you have a very brilliant ideas, and that can create some economic value, so that time this agreement plays a lot of role. Addendum we'll be discussing later. So for these reasons, this teacher requires to know about that while transferring copyright, while initiating any action against someone who has infringed the copyright. Okay, and also to respond to the retractions. When retraction happens, how to respond. So in this slide, I have left discussing addendum and retraction, that I'll be taking up in the next slides. So why IPR for educators? And I already spoken about that. This is a need of the hour and one of the required component, and also to respect others' knowledge, others' effort, and also to ethically write, to teach, publish, research, and train, and create awareness and guide. So this is required. Why I have repeatedly added these things, because this is what is lacking. That's the reason I'm repeating these things. Now, as I said, coming back to the J.K. Rowling case, okay, so I said that the word, it appears as a singular term, copyright, but we need to understand it as copyrights, because the moment you get copyright, you will be having some other allied rights also with you. So that's the reason we call it as bundle of rights. When I say copyright, you are entitled to get a bundle of rights. So which are those rights? Right to reproduce the copyrighted work. You can reproduce it. You can again reprint it, republish it, revised edition. Right to prepare derivative work based upon the copyrighted work. You can prepare the derivative. Derivative means you can write a story. You can prepare a comic. Okay, you can have an animated. You can create an animated movie. So like that. And right to perform the copyrighted work publicly. I think literature teachers and the students, they know that when you read any drama, or you can say play or drama, so the author clearly writes that in order to perform on a stage, you need to pay XYZ amount to the author. So this is usually written. Okay, I don't know whether students have observed this or not. So even to enact a particular drama written by somebody, you need to seek permission from the author, okay, or you need to pay fees. So right to display the copyrighted work publicly, this is also very, very important. So somebody may accuse that why you displayed that without seeking my permission, because that is copyrighted. Okay, so what we understand from copyright word is that copyright comes with a bundle of rights. For what? For reproduce, for adaptations, for derivatives, okay, for sharing rights, right? So this is just an example. You can prepare, as far as adaptation or derivatives are concerned, you can prepare a novel, you can start a comic series, you can give rights to a producer to start a serial on that, movie, game, programs, even translation. Translation also requires a right, okay? So I have written a novel, and if somebody wants to translate it, so he needs to seek my right, okay? So I need to transfer that right. Again, there is economic value involved in it. Agreement is involved in it. So this is why this transferring right also comes in picture, okay? And this comes with some riders, okay? Riders means what? Terms and conditions. For example, if you want to translate this, you need to translate only in one language, okay? So, and you need to pay this amount. You will be publishing these many copies. You will be publishing with this XYZ publisher. So all these terms and conditions are usually put in the agreement, okay? So it is just a negotiation between a publisher and the author, or the translator and the author and publisher. So it is threesome or it is twosome. So transferring right comes in picture in this way. or else you can give exclusive right. Exclusive right means what? You can do anything with the copy. Okay, I have written a paper, so I'm sharing my exclusive copyright with you. You can either prepare a small write-up, you can write a review, you can write commentary on that, you can make a script and you can enact. So a lot of things are there. So exclusive right also there. Sometimes no control. Okay, sometimes you are giving some controls to particular things and you are not giving controls to others. Okay, so again it is a matter of agreement. Without permission you can't take anything. Means even while transferring right, permission is very, very important. Without notice, without my notice, I am a copyright holder. Without my notice, if somebody prepares a derivative or makes any adaptation, so that will be a big problem. So for that reason, he need to go through this transferring rights aspects. So he needs to go through that agreement. So transferring the right really helps us a lot. As a simple example is that I'm not connecting this to copyright because patent is quite related to transferring. Okay, so when you have patent, so you can earn money. You can transfer or you can sell it. Okay, so you can earn money like anything. So in the patent case, even in copyright case also you can transfer the rights, right? So another example is Chetan Bhagat is another example. So like that, there are many authors. So they have transferred exclusive or some limited rights for making movies or comics or series like that. Now, copyright protects derivative works also. This is true. For example, J.K. Rowling's book is translated into 80 languages. Now, you are going to ask me a question. Sir, if somebody has translated that work, then who holds the copyright? The copyright is certainly held by the person who has translated it. And again, it depends on what kind of agreement, what kind of conditions agreed between these two parties. So all these derivative works are also holding the copyright logo or copyrights. But there are differing rules in different countries. As far as Indian Copyright Act 1957, that speaks different things about the derivative works. Again, US Copyright Act, that talks different aspects. But if you generally see this, majority of the acts of different countries, they allow giving copyright to the derivative works as well. Now, I spoke about exclusive rights. You already know about that. What is exclusive right? Exclusive right means all the rights are given. You can do anything with that particular work. You can reproduce. You can prepare a derivative. Examples are given in this. You can go through it. You can distribute copies to the work unlimited. Publicly perform without any permission because already you have got exclusive right. Okay. Publicly display, publicly perform, like that. Now, coming to copyright notice. So I'm introducing all these concepts related to copyright. You already have seen, like Dr. Amit gave an example of an Archimedes. Okay, so he had not explored that this kind of thing happened, Eureka kind of thing happened. Okay, so the moment he understood that, okay, this is there, so he discovered that. So I'm sharing all these examples and concepts because you already know about this, but we do not know some technical terms for that. We have not seen through the specs of as a researcher or as a publisher or as an author or as an editor or as an educator, right? What is this copyright notice? This is very, very simple. If you open any book, you can see copyright page. What is that copyright page? Copyright page, the page wherein you can see the symbol and the name of the author and the description that says that whether all rights reserved or not. Now, for educators, especially for the researchers, I wanted to give this example. You want to publish a book with a publisher. Now the publisher says that I'll be holding all the rights of your book. So then if you simply say yes, that means every time you want to republish it, every time you want to reproduce it and share it in a large group, you need to seek his permission. So that is the reason you need to negotiate with the publisher. So some publisher, they say that, okay, you can keep all rights with you, I'll publish, but I'll be asking you certain amount. So it all depends on the agreement. It all depends on the agreement that you go with. Now, copyright notice, 4 elements are very, very important. Notice means it is not a document. It is just a simple sentence that you usually see on any website or on any newsletter or on any book. So what is that? This is the copyright symbol, friends. And this is year of publication, usually year of publication, year of updation when it comes to website. And who holds that? Okay, John Doe. All rights reserved means this person holds that. He may be a publisher or he may be a person. Okay. There are multi-year also, multi-year and name and rights reserved. So this indicates that what kind of rights are reserved. All rights are reserved. So for adaptation, for derivatives, for anything, you need to seek permission from him, and you, without his permission, you can't do that. So this is a series wherein that work is being updated by John D. Okay. So some rights are reserved. Can you see here? Some rights are reserved. The moment I see why this copyright notice is important, because anybody who is interested in that work to bring out a different product out of that, so for them it is an indication. It is like a signboard. Okay, it is like a signboard. If the signboard is saying that the metro is this side, so I'll be going that side because the signboard is helping me to reach the metro station. So similarly, these kind of copyright notices usually you find in a book, right? In any book, if you open, you will see copyright page wherein it is written, some rights are reserved, all rights are reserved. Already Dr. Amit Kumar has shown you this, and I request all of you to see this website that is on patent, design, trademarks, and even geographical indicators and copyright also. This is a very exclusive site to understand the basic aspects, acts, rules, okay, some cases, examples, and also some links are there, copyright offices, annual reports, you can get to know more about that. And friends, don't miss this particular website. This is very, very important. That is World Intellectual Property Organization. And many of my friends are pursuing courses on this. Certificate courses are provided by World Intellectual Property Organization. It is online course and a very short-term course. You can also attend courses conducted by WIPO. It is very popular, and a lot of its publications are available free of cost, full text level. Please read them, and these are very, very basic in nature. It is not having any advanced knowledge, but you can understand that. Now coming to copyright registration, the question is that should we register for copyright? For example, I wrote an article, I wrote a book, okay, so should I have the copyright certificate like we have patent certificate when we file a patent, right? But this is optional, friends. This is optional. It seems very strange for you because you may say that, sir, I have written a book, but if somebody copies and claims that I have got the copyright, so that may also happen. But the only solution is that you need to have sufficient proof that this is the idea first generated by you. This is the work first generated by you. There should be some communication. There should become some justification showing that this work really belongs to you and you are the first creator of that. Okay. But still, if you are not happy with that, you are not convinced that, okay, I need to have a certificate of copyright. Okay, I hold this copyright. So again, you need to apply for that as far as a time lag is concerned, because one of the professors of the college was asking Dr. Amit Kumar about the time lag. She filed long back, but she has not got any intimation. So even in this case also time lag may happen, but thanks to the internet, thanks to the transparent e-governance, you may get certificate very quickly, maybe one month or 2 months, but it is not necessary. But if you want, you can get it. I have added one more link here of US Copyright Office. Okay, you can check this. And if you read this, you will understand that even though registration isn't mandatory, it will provide you with certain advantages should you ever have to enforce your right. In the time of complexity, in the time of problems, then this may come to rescue. But in any case, registration for copyright is not that mandatory. In case if you want to get it, you can get it. So there are two kinds of limitations. Okay, this limitation should not be considered as negativity, okay, or negative aspects of copyright. लिमिटेशन का मतलब ये नहीं है कि कॉपीराइट का क्या नेगेटिविटी है. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि copyright is providing certain conditions, but there are some ways wherein it helps us some liberty, flexibility as far as using copyright. So let me make it very clear. Copyright is limited in two ways. One is fair use, another is agreement. One is statutorily provided provision, another is contractually provided provision. What is statutorily provided provision? Now, copyright says that, Indian Copyright Act says that, okay, you should not copy, you should take permission, even for derivatives, even for sharing in public lecture, even while training, while uploading this on the site, while taking photocopy, you need to take permission. All these kinds of things are there. But statutory provision is there, wherein for teaching, research, training, and other purposes, fair use has come to our rescue. So under fair use, under Indian Copyright Act 1957, there is a provision called fair use. I am going to show you the sections and clause also. So under fair use, it is allowing the educators, researchers, students, and trainers to use the copyrighted material for adding value or adding some knowledge to the existing stock of knowledge, and that is purely non-profit basis. If it is completely non-profit basis, the reason is to just share, to do research, to understand, to teach. Copyright restrictions do not apply here. So that is called fair use. Again, fair use restrictions are differ from institute in country to country. In US, fair use is different. In UK, fair use is different. Australia, fair use is different. In India, fair use is different. But 90% of the fair use provisions are almost similar. Now, what is contractual? Contractual limitation. That means the act is there, but when I want to publish my book with a publisher, then I want to amend few things. I want to go by certain conditions, or the publisher may say that if you want to publish this book with us, okay, so we are going to print 100 copies and we'll be paying you 10, we'll be paying you this amount, and also will be giving you 10 books, okay. So you may say that, okay, I want certain rights also because I want to convert it as XYZ product. So if you agree, then we can go for this. He may reject it, he may select it. So these kind of contractual agreements may happen. So copyright provides us statutory as well as contractual provisions. So this is a fair use, Indian Copyright Act. So here you can see fair dealing. The dealing has to be fair in order to learn, report, research, train, teach, share, like that. So even in the library, when it comes to library can also download certain articles and keep it in its repository, not to share with the companies, okay, not to share and take profit out of it. It is just to share knowledge. It is just to help other to learn. So that is the fair use provision. So I request all of you to please check this fair use. Fair dealing. So already I have discussed about this. Some of the acts may not consider as an infringement. Means this, when you use it for research, criticism, or review, or when you take backup copies on a computer, when you report the current events or report of judicial proceedings, or when the teacher uses in its course or curriculum, and even answers in the examinations, these doesn't fall under copyright or infringement of copyright, because these all fall under fair use. Now, so far we discussed a lot of things about plagiarism, copyright, okay. So why copyright is required, why the knowledge and awareness of copyright is required, and we also understood about adaptations and derivatives and agreement and limitations we understood. But there are a lot of cases happening, okay, a lot of disputes happening because of copyright, especially in industry, in market, in trade, many things are happening. So this is just a screenshot of some cases. I simply went to Kanun.org, indiankanun.org. I simply typed in IPR cases and I got a lot of cases. And you can read these cases also. You can also explore like this IPR cases, education institutes. You will get to know different kinds of IPR cases. Now, why I'm saying this, because copyright cases and complications are becoming a very big threat, and these are doubling like anything. So that is the reason we need to be aware of that. There are a lot of authorship disputes are also happening because of copyright issues. So this is an article I want all of you to please read this, how to handle authorship disputes, a guide for new researchers, especially researchers, even for educators and the teachers. This is very, very important, wherein all plagiarism and copyright issues are discussed in this. And friends, I particularly request all of you to please go through COPE. COPE is Committee on Publication Ethics. If you simply type in plagiarism or copyright, you will get to read varied cases. And again, the way the cases are presented in this particular website is completely different, because the cases that we read in management studies, management science, it is completely different. We do case studies, we study case studies on a company, on a product, on a service, okay, on market. But here, the case studies are completely different, and advices are also given. Certain standards are also given, and 90% of the internationally reputed publishers, they follow the standards of Committee on Publication Ethics. And Committee on Publication Ethics is a non-profit organization. So I have just simply shared this screenshot. You can get to know more about this, and I request all of you to please check that. Now, coming to research and authorship, research and publications, how this copyright has become a big challenge. Many of the articles are rejected and retracted. Why? Because of copyright issues also. So friends, this is an example of one of the publishers' rejection ratio, or why publishers are rejecting. This is from elsewhere. So why the publisher rejects? Because of data issues, because of authorship issues, because of plagiarism, because of experimental error, theoretical error, problematic data, work not reproducible. See here, work not reproducible means in order to reproduce it, you need to have the rights. So because of this reason, articles are rejected. I am using the word rejection, right? So here you can see at the right side, you can see breakdown of the reasons limited for retraction, classified from the text of retraction notices. And you can see here copyright issues. This is just a plain statistics. I'm not sharing that from where I have taken this and what I'm justifying here, why this number is less. No, I'm not saying that. It is just an indication saying that when a publisher gets any paper, he notices different defects in that paper. It could be related to data, it could be related to plagiarism, it could be related to duplicate publication, it could be related to copyright, or it could be related to the work is not reproducible. Okay, so these things may be concerned with the publisher. So the challenge the publishers are facing this, and that is the reason the articles are rejected. Now I spoke about rejection. What about the retraction? Okay, I'm going to talk about retraction. Friends, retraction broadly means your paper is published in a journal, your article is published in a magazine, but because of complaint and appeal, I'm using these words, complaints and appeal, the publisher takes a decision to retract it, remove it, withdraw it. Again, removal, withdrawal, all these are different terminologies, but those are associated. That means when your paper is published, if it is removed from the publication firm, if it is removed from the journal, that is called retraction. This is a general definition. So I'll give an example of C.N.R. Rao, Bharat Ratna C.N.R. Rao. He was accused of plagiarism in introduction or in some other paragraph. People complained that this particular component is plagiarized by C.N.R. Rao and his co-authors. When C.N.R. Rao came to know about that, he wrote a letter to the publisher. This is called appeal. Okay. So initially people complained to the publisher, that is complaint. Okay. And CNR Rao, when he came to know about that, he appealed to the publisher. This is called appealing. Okay, he appealed to the publisher to retract the paper. Why retraction? Because already that paper was published. And strangely, very interestingly, the publisher took a stand that we are going to put a disclaimer. We are not going to retract this paper because this paper is excellent paper. Yes, there could be some loopholes. There could be some cases. There could be some component related to plagiarism, but we do not want to remove this because this is a wonderful paper. So this may also happen, friends. It all depends on what kind of complaint you have made. What is the strength in that complaint? How you appealed? How the appeal is taken up by the publisher? And in many cases, because of complaint and appeals, the papers might be rejected or retracted. Okay. So here is an example. If a copyright owner finds their copyright protected work posted on YouTube without authorization, they may schedule a takedown request for the content. So यहाँ से भी retraction हो सकता है जब YouTube के बात आती है, कोई भी any platform. So this retraction option is there, friends. So I'll quickly move ahead and so this is retraction watch database. I just want to show you so that you can understand how retraction really works, right? So I just wanted to show you why papers are being rejected. Okay, because of XYZ reason, I said that it could be because of plagiarism, it could be because of copyright issue or any illegitimate issues. I think it's not working here. Let me go through. Sanju sir, hope I have 10 minutes more time.
Time is all yours.
Thank you, sir. So, friends, I just wanted to show you this particularly. So, friends, this is Retraction Watch database. It is completely available free of cost. Anybody can explore and see. Now, my job is to create awareness as how, despite publishing, the papers are retracted. Okay. I'll simply say literature. Okay. So you can explore all the other fields, but I'll simply say literature. Okay. And I want to know how many papers are retracted. Okay, I'm using the word retracted. You can also understand as rejected, right? So here, the reasons are given by the publisher, and these are the articles, these are the authors. Okay, these are all publication details, right? I'm not going into detail, but I just want to show you why these are rejected or retracted or removed or withdrawn. Okay, so here, concerns issues about referencing attributions, investigations by journal publisher, investigation by third party, withdrawal. So these are the just abstract words. Abstract words means there could be a lot of meaning hidden in it. That's the reason those are retracted. So usually what the publisher does is when he retracts, when he gets complaints and appeals, please remember these two words. When the publisher gets complaint or appeal, right, that time he retracts, he evaluates that, he sends to consultant or editorial board or peer review system, and they find that, okay, there is a genuinity in this complaint and appeal. That's the reason I need to retract it. So retraction is very, very important because people are going to cite it. If it is a wrong paper, if the findings are wrong, people are going to cite it. And this is also big nuisance in the publication industry because there are many paper written on medical science and later on it is retracted. But many people have already cited that. So what to do about that? So because of these reasons, papers are also retracted. So please explore this Retraction Watch database. It is completely free of cost. I already have given you the link here and you can explore this. So I'll move a little bit fast, right? Now, major publishers sue ResearchGate over copyright infringement. Even ResearchGate, I think you all are member of ResearchGate. If you are not, please become a member of ResearchGate. By saying this, I am not going to get any royalty or commission from ResearchGate, but my only intention is that I want all of you to be on ResearchGate, because you will get a lot of free articles there. You can have network with big writers. You can request, because for librarians it is very useful, because many of the time many students, they contact us for journal articles, and we can't say no to them, because though we do not have database with us, but we use some tricks and tactics, because we are present on different platforms and we contact some XYZ authors who have written that. We directly contact them if they are in our network, and we get the article and then we share with them, right? So the publishers are facing these kind of problems, and many publishers complain to ResearchGate, because in ResearchGate many authors or the account holders of ResearchGate, they are uploading their papers on ResearchGate. But when it comes to you, please do not upload any paper without seeking permission from the publisher. It could be on the institutional digital repository of your institute or on any platform. Do not upload any full text paper of yours without seeking permission from the publisher. And if you have the copyright with you, you can do anything with that. But majority of the paid publishers, they hold copyright with them. So that is the reason they may sue you. Especially in science, technology, and engineering, medical science, this happen rapidly. But in social science, हम तो बहुत you can say हम free bird है. In social science and even in humanities, कोई पकड़ता नहीं हमको. So this may also happen. So as far as another issue is that photocopying, okay, reproducing in the form of photocopying. तो ये दिल्ली का केस तो आपको मालूम ही होगा, बहुत ही लंबा चला था ये केस, okay, and even judges said that no, in order to learn, do research, training, अगर copy किया तो क्या problem है. So if you read the entire story, so I have given you the link also. All the statements in double quotes of the judges are given in this, so please read this. Now this also has become a threat for academic industry, even publication industry. For that, different rules and set of rules are also brought in. So reprography organizations, reprography rules, regulations are also brought in to safeguard the reproduction rights of the creators. Reprographic rights organizations were formed in many countries called reprographic rights organization. Indian Reprographic Rights Organization was established in and registered under Societies Registration Act. So these things deal with reprography. तो आप reprography कर सकते हैं, photocopy कर सकते हैं, उसको आप research, teaching, publication के लिए use कर सकते हैं. But you can't sell it, okay? You can't sell it. You should not use commercially. So another important aspect of learning about copyright is that nowadays every publisher is talking about copyright rules, copyright regulation, copyright awareness. So this is simply a screenshot I have taken from Google. So every publisher, if you go to author guidelines, मैं तो ये समझता हूँ कि आपको publications के बारे में how to write a good paper, what all things I need to follow, एक simple and best तरीका ये है कि you go to any standard publisher's website and see their authorship guidelines or author guidelines, and you will learn a lot of things. Many students and researchers, they come to us and I simply say that, no, have you read any author guidelines of any publisher? And if they read, they are more smarter than us. So that is the reason, friends, please see any author guidelines, and wherein you will definitely get one component related to copyright. So these are the examples. Elsewhere is there, okay, and even Taylor and Francis is there, so you can get to know about that. So here is a detailed example as how the publishers are creating awareness about copyright, because this is also a threat for them. Okay, they do not want to fall in the legal suits. Okay, so every publisher, almost standard publishers, whitelisted publishers, they have one or the other component of copyright. So this is Taylor and Francis, and here this is very interesting. I have taken from Taylor and Francis. After assigning copyright to the publisher, you will still retain the right to. तो ये आपको जानना बहुत जरूरी है. When you give your right, because some publisher they say that I will hold the copyright. You will not hold any copyright. You need to surrender exclusive rights to us. We can do anything with that. But still, after assigning the copyright, you will still retain the right to be credited as the author of the article, make printed copies of your article to use for a lecture or a class. So ये ऐसे list करते हैं, they list out all these things. So that is the reason we should not say that मुझे ये agreement समझ में नहीं आता है. So when you do not want to understand, or you don't have that knowledge, or what you can say, that interest in understanding, then there is no point in writing and approaching a publisher. And again, there is a solution for that. You need to hire a publication consultant, you need to hire publication or literary lawyer. I'm going to talk about that also. So coming to addendum, I promised that I will be talking about addendum. Addendum is a proposed modification to a publisher standard copyright transfer agreement. If accepted, it would allow the author to retain key rights. Let me give an example. I approach a publisher for publishing my article, and then he says that, no, I am going to hold all the rights. You need to surrender all the exclusive rights to me, because as you learned, copyright is not a single right. Copyright is having a bundle of rights. Now publisher says that I will be having the bundle of rights. Then you can talk about addendum. What is addendum? You request them that when he gives the agreement, you tell that I want to amend this particular section. Can you please allow me? Can you please help me? Means you are appealing, right? In case the publisher is saying that I want to hold all right. So addendum is nothing but a proposed modification by an author to a publisher to amend certain components of a copyright. So this is an example. So what you need to do is that you need to scrutinize the publisher's agreement. So this Spark is a very good website. Please go through this website. This is a wonderful website that talks about how to use addendum as an option to win a case, to get the condition as you want. Okay. So first of all, what you need to do is that you need to scrutinize the agreement, and then you make some changes. You request the publisher for changing. And what if the publisher rejects the author addendum? So when the publisher says that, no, I will not agree with this addendum, I will not agree, then you can approach a different publisher, or else you can re-approach with little modification. So friends, what we learned from this addendum is that despite having an agreement, still there is a scope for addendum, still there is a scope for change, and that you have to use. And that is the reason this kind of awareness is important for all the educators and researchers. Now, so far we discussed a lot of things, but what about infringement? जो गलती करेगा तो उनको क्या भुगतना पड़ेगा? Okay, तो गलती तो कर ही रहे हैं, कॉपी तो कर ही रहे हैं, उनके ऊपर क्या होगा? So the law takes its own action, but infringement is what, if you violate any rule, statutes, ordinance, any established policy or guidelines, then that is called infringement. In copyright, we usually use this word infringement. That is for making copies, distributing without any permission, public exhibition, like that. Already you learned about that. There is another kind of infringement, that is what, infringing copies into the country of origin. Okay, so ये क्या होता है? I think you have seen these kind of books, low price edition books, or the books which are specifically meant for a particular continent or a country. So if you read this edition is manufactured in India and is authorized for sale only in India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives. Circulation of this edition outside of these territories unauthorized. Again, in this case also infringement may happen if you sell, and there are a lot of cases. The online platforms, the e-commerce platforms, they started selling outside also, because the even American may also order this for a very less amount of money. So in this case, all these parties will be the part of infringement. So as I said, when you do not know how to go for addendum, when you do not know what is this agreement, so that time you can seek permission or seek guidance from the publishing attorney. In India, it is not that popular, but in the West, there are a lot of publishing attorneys are there, publishing consultants are there, literary lawyers are there, who are guiding you when it comes to publication. Okay, they guide you, right? Now, one classic case, I really like this case. Kelly Kobe is a very famous publication consultant. I have read many of her articles. And I just wanted to share one particular example when Kelly Kobe works with a hospital, a research institute. It is associated with a hospital in Germany. Okay, and she is a publication consultant also. If you read this particular paragraph, especially, you will understand some top-notch researchers and scientists approached her and shared the list of 200 publications to her and asked Kelly Kobe that, please tell me whether we have published our papers in any illegitimate fake journals or not. And Kelly Kobe explored all the papers, and then she found that 5% of the articles were published in fake journals. So this happened because even despite having spent a lot of years in the academia, being a very senior most seasoned researcher or a scientist or a professor, we still commit mistake in publishing in fake journal. That may happen. So that is the reason you can go and take help of publication consultant, literally lawyers. Okay, so it all up to or else you can go to mentors, because you need not pay any money, right? You can meet your seniors, right? You need not pay money. But in West, it is completely commercialized. Publication consultants, they really take a huge amount to guide you. So lastly, means I'm about to finish my presentation. So I just wanted to share what is the difference between this plagiarism and copyright, because many students ask that. Plagiarism is concerned with ethics, right? Copyright is legal aspects. When you do not cite or thank somebody, then that becomes a plagiarism. But whereas when you simply distribute or when you reproduce it, it is a criminal offense, in the sense it is a crime. You are not taken permission. You have violated the Indian Copyright Act. Okay, so here copyright is permissible only for the expressed ideas, but where even if you take any ideas, but still you need to cite. So these things are there. If you do not acknowledge them, that becomes a plagiarism. And here the permission is important. More than acknowledgement, permission is very, very important. You may say that I have acknowledged. For example, I have taken a book. Okay, I have made 1,000 copies and then I distributed, and I have put a big banner and thanking the author, because of his book, I could share this particular books to 1,000 people, because you have acknowledged. But the problem is that you are not taken permission. So that is the thing. Now coming to open licenses, quickly I'll discuss. We all know about only copyright, wherein we say all rights are reserved. But here another aspect is there, Creative Commons. Creative Commons means what? Some rights are reserved, not all rights. Another symbol is there, another copyright aspect is there, that is public domain. Whenever you see this symbol, that means no rights are reserved. When I publish a book and when I put this particular logo, that means you can take and you can print n number of copies. You can sell it, you can do anything. So no need of taking my permission, because already I have allowed, saying that no rights are reserved, right? So these are called public domain licenses or open licenses. So public domain license means what? You can use if you want to waive all copyright and related rights for work that you have created. For example, I have got the copyright to a particular book. I have got a copyright to this. And later on I change my mind, saying that, okay, I'll make it a public domain. I want to convert from copyright to public domain. So I can use this particular logo and I can say that. And here, public domain, use if you have identified a work that is free of known copyright restriction. For example, as Dr. Amit Kumar rightly said, that the validity of a copyright of a particular work is lifetime of the author plus 60 or 70 years. It depends on the country, right? And later on, it is available in public domain. So that is the reason Shakespeare's lot of novels, okay, his plays, his dramas, his sonnets are published by many publishers in a low-priced edition, because it is not having any copyright now, because already lifetime plus 60 years have passed. Okay, so it can be claimed by anybody can publish it. That is the reason many publishers are publishing it. So here are some examples of these open licenses. Okay, so here CC0, right, this. So somebody was having the copyright on this, but later on he made it public, means anybody can use it. They can make an animated movie, they can copy, crop it, paste it, they can share, distribute, like that. So these are examples. So Creative Commons license, open license, there are many open licenses are like this. Like even my PPT is also having open licenses. It is very easy. Or CC stands for Creative Commons. By means attribution. Attribution means acknowledgement. Acknowledgement means thank you. So I'm thanking. So if I use this particular icon in my particular book or article, that means what I'm saying is that I'm saying that you can distribute it, you can photocopy it, you can derive it, you can prepare adaptations of it, you can commercially utilize it, you can sell it, because I have used this particular logo. Okay, so whereas this one is concerned, this second license is concerned, where no derivatives are allowed. I'm giving you full credit, means you can take it, you can share it, you can commercially utilize it, but you can't prepare adaptation of that. Okay, so similarly, share alike, non-commercial. I'm just briefly introducing them because due to paucity of time, I'm not discussing in detail, but these are very easy to understand licenses. So here I'm saying that you should not use it commercially, but whereas in the first license, I allowed everybody to do anything, but you need to acknowledge. The only condition that I have that some rights are reserved. Some right means what? You need to thank me, you need to acknowledge me in this first case. In the second case, derivatives are not possible, but you can sell it. In the fourth case, non-commercial, you can cite it, you can distribute it, but you can't sell it. Okay, so again here the fifth one, you can acknowledge me, you non-commercial, you can't use it for commercial purpose, no derivatives possible. Here again attribution is required, non-commercial, share alike. Okay, so these are the basic open licenses you can use in any of the products. It could be your animated file, paper, research paper, or article, but you can't put this and send it to a publication firm because they do not use these open licenses. In this presentation, what I'm doing is there are two things. One is copyright, another is open license. When you send it to open access journals, you need to find out what kind of license among these they follow. Okay, when you send it to paid publishers, they do not follow these open licenses. Those are called closed journals. There are open access journals, there are closed access journal, there are subscription based journals, there are open access journal. Many of the open access journals, they use one or other open licenses among these. Okay, so even in open education resources, these things are used. Now if you simply observe here, open education resource should open education resource allow to make derivatives or adaptations, and if it doesn't allow, then that is not called as open education resources. So you see here, if you say this is open education resource, you can't say open education resource, because the soul of the main bone of contention of open education resource is that it should allow adaptations, it should allow remixes, changes in that. Okay, so the first one is the very popular open access open license, which allows everything, means commercially utilized, derivatives can be done, reproduction can be done, distribution can be done. So that is possible. So I briefly shared this. Now let me give some quick examples. Now if you go to Shodh Ganga, I quickly want to show you Shodh Ganga so that you can understand. I think 155 now. So let me quickly wrap up. So if you go to Shodh Ganga, all the Shodh Ganga pieces are available in Creative Commons license, open license. Can you see here? So this shows that Creative Commons license, acknowledgement is required. When you use any thesis, acknowledgement is required. Non-commercial, share alike. Okay, right? So this is the concept of open license. So anybody who uses this license, that shows that what kind of licenses are allowed for the user. So these are the examples, quick examples I have taken. So this is what you can share, you can adapt, you can remix, you can commercially use. These are the examples. Even I wrote an article for London School of Economics blog, and that blog follows this particular license. Okay, so again, this is an example These are again example, different example. And friends, this particular platform I wanted to demonstrate, but I'll avoid demonstrating it because it will take time. So this is Sherpa Romeo website. It is again free of cost, open access. In this, you will get to know different copyright rules of different publishers, especially open access publisher. If you simply type in Nature, if you simply type in British Journal of Medicine, so it will show you what kind of copyright conditions are there for the authors. So that is a wonderful tool for you. Please explore that. Now, how to find usage right? So in YouTube, even in Google Advanced Search, even in Google Images, you can get to know a lot of open access licenses. For example, management, I'll simply type in management and I want to see some images, okay? And these images should be available in open access license. Can you see here? Right now it is showing all copyrighted images or some Creative Commons licenses. Now I'll click on Creative Commons licenses. Can you see here? So all these are having Creative Commons license, but this is shown by Google. We need to check further whether it is really having Creative Commons license or copyright license. Okay. Now, when it comes to YouTube, you can also check Creative Commons licenses, the videos that are having Creative Commons licenses. For that, what you need to do is you need to search something here. For example, education. I'll type in education, right? And here you get this filter option. Okay. So when you click on filter option, you will see this Creative Commons. The moment you click on this, you will get all videos that are having Creative Commons licenses, right? So why this is important, friends? It is important because when you want to use this for your research work, when you are preparing videos, that time you can use. And friends, especially I want you all to explore this WIPO's publication that is very, very important, World Intellectual Property Organization. And it has given all the training aspects of intellectual property for judges, non-jurists, for students, practitioners. So this is a wonderful document. I think you all can access it. Even you can keep it in the library. Also, it is accessible free of cost. Here is an example. Even for judges also, it is a kind of training material for judges also. You may say that judges are already knowing law, legality, but still IPR related aspects are discussed in this particular document as how they should interpret, what all things they should know about IPR. As I said, all the publications of WIPO are available free of cost. All these wonderful publications are available free of cost. You can download and read. And especially this particular document is very, very important for teachers to teach copyright. In case your college may implement a short-term course for all the students, like we have Constitution, Foundation course, Environmental Science course for the students that they should learn. So similarly, IPR can be made very fun, means students can learn it very enthusiastically, because that kind of things are available in this as how teachers should teach IPR, so they can explore. This is a wonderful site. Again, I have taken this particular document from there. So please explore this particular document. And again, this is another beautiful document wherein all the IPR related issues are discussed in question answer format. So this is wonderful source. You can get it, and you can watch a number of videos on IP or intellectual property or intellectual property rights. So you can get it. And also I have shared some more document. Friends, all these documents are having open access licenses. That means available, downloadable, shareable. Okay, you can print and copy, distribute, right? According to the copyright open license restriction, even you can sell also. So that is possible. So please try to download and start reading them. So I have given you a number of resources here. This is also very good, the document. And especially you can enroll for any courses on any of the MOOC platform. This is a wonderful source. You can go here and you can see some reading materials also on this MIT Open Courseware. And especially for universities and colleges, there are a lot of sources available in this particular site. You can check. But my only request is that please try to explore WIPO website like anything. आपको ये पूरा छानबीन कीजिए, whether you belong to humanities or whether you belong to law or anything. So this particular site also gives you जनरेटिंग सम एग्रीमेंट, कॉपीराइट एग्रीमेंट कैसे जनरेट करते हैं वो भी इसमें देते हैं। तो आईपी टूल किट फॉर यूनिवर्सिटीज, पॉलिसीज कैसे क्रिएट करना है, पॉलिसी में क्या कंपोनेंट होना चाहिए, इसके बारे में भी आपको जानकारी मिलेगा। Many of the institutes are forming the policy. Policy has to be there in any university or college. So I have given you example for policies. Even you can see different policies of different universities, right? So we can check this. And friends, this is a very, very important document, managing intellectual property rights in book publishing industry. Though you do not belong to book publishing industry, but certainly you are writing any papers for publishers, so please read it. Annual report, this is also a very ready reckoner for you to understand what is the trend in IPR, and especially for intellectual property rights trends in India. This is altogether a different document, not published by Indian publisher but published by UK publisher. So please read this. Also UK government has published on this, so please go through this and create awareness among the students and organize events like this and help people understand about that, because this is very, very important, a very serious issue. So please go through this. The whatever link I have shared, I have examined them and I found them very fruitful. I'm not saying that these are the only resources that those are available, but these are the classic examples. And this also you can experiment. I wanted to show you, but I will avoid it. Think, Check, Submit is a wonderful platform wherein it will give you some checklist whether you have followed plagiarism aspects, ethical aspects, okay, or copyright related aspects or not. So you can experiment. thinkchecksubmit.org. And also I request all of you to please master at least one citation standard. It could be MLA, Modern Language Association style, or AP, American Psychological Association. This will help you understand how to cite them properly, how to avoid plagiarism. And all these manuals talk about how to be ethically right, and also they talk about fair use and copyright. So that is the reason, please read these style guides also and try to learn at least one reference manager. It could be Word or MS Word or Jotero or anything. We need to know how to cite. So citing is nothing but thanking somebody who has helped us. Okay. So friends, this is from my side. Thank you so much. I took a lot of time, and once again I thank Sanjeev sir for giving me this wonderful opportunity to interact with all the research scholars. So this is an example here. My PPT itself is having open license. This means what? You need to, when you use my PPT, you need to thank me. Okay, you need to use my name, but you should not use it for commercial purposes. So this particular license indicates that. So like that, among 6 open access licenses, you can use any one license and you can paste on your PPT or your story or your video. That is possible. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Thank you, sir. May I ask any question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is Dr. Ruchi, sir, from Siddharth University, and very informative session, sir. And thank you so much. And a special thank to Dr. Sanjeev sir and his team for this wonderful session and wonderful workshop. Santosh sir, I have a question. As I am a teacher of humanities, जैसे कि सर मुझे बहुत ज्यादा नॉलेज नहीं है, लेकिन अब मैं ये कह सकती हूँ कि काफी कुछ सीख लिया है सर। एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री पढ़ाती हूँ मैं, तो सर एक क्वेश्चन मेरा ये था कि जैसे कि मैं कोई पेपर, जैसे हमारी ह्यूमैनिटीज में जब हम कोई पेपर लिखते हैं तो हम फुटनोट यूज करते हैं हम लोग। तो जैसे मैंने किसी राइटर को कोट किया हुआ है और उस फुटनोट को मैंने दिया हुआ है बकायदा, ऑथर नेम एंड हिज पब्लिकेशंस, डेट, सब कुछ दिया हुआ है और कोटेशंस देते हैं हम। तो सर ये क्या ये प्लेगरिज्म में आता है या नहीं?
एक्चुअली प्लेजरिज्म एक मॉडर्न कॉन्सेप्ट बहुत ही डिफरेंट है। प्लेजरिज्म सॉफ्टवेयर क्यों आया है कि जिसका रोल है, जिसका ड्यूटी है, वो लोग भूल गए हैं। वी हैव लॉस्ट इंटरेस्ट इन रिव्यू सिस्टम। आई कम टू पॉइंट। जब आपको एक प्लेजरिज्म डिटेक्शन सॉफ्टवेयर में आप पेपर डालेंगे और वो बताता है कि आपका फुटनोट को भी वो बताता है कि सिमिलर है।
यस, वही क्वेश्चन ये हो जाता है।
यस, तो अगर समझिए कि मैं गाइड हूँ और मैं ब्लाइंडली बोलता हूँ कि नहीं आप बेटा आपका प्लेजरिज्म है, ये पेपर एक्सेप्ट नहीं हो सकता। व्हाई इट इज हैपनिंग? बिकॉज हमने कहीं ना कहीं क्या है ना, रिव्यू, ह्यूमन रिव्यू जो है, ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन में फेल हो गए। तो जब सिस्टम कुछ भी दिखा सकता है, सिस्टम कुछ भी बोल सकता है, तो तब दैट हैज टू बी शोन टू द गाइड, एंड गाइड इज एन एक्सपर्ट हु टेल्स दैट ओके दिस इज द डिफरेंस. ये फुटनोट है तो फिर मशीन पकड़ा है, ठीक है, मशीन को नॉलेज नहीं है, मशीन को माइंड नहीं है, मशीन अपना काम किया है. मशीन क्या करता है, समथिंग इज बेटर देन नथिंग. मशीन क्या काम करता है, थोड़ा एक हर्डल बनाता है. एक स्टूडेंट्स को एक आइडिया देता है कि आपका जो भी लिखा हुआ है वो वर्ल्ड के जो लिटरेचर में कहाँ कहाँ आता है, कहाँ कहाँ कॉपी पेस्ट दिखता है, वो दिखाता है. तो क्या होता है कि अभी पहले के जो आप पुराने जमाने का आप बात कीजिए, 10 साल पहले की बात कीजिए, आप 15 साल पहले की बात कीजिए,
Yes.
वहां का प्लेजरिज्म डिटेक्शन सॉफ्टवेयर था. वहां डिटेक्टर कौन था, गाइड थे डिटेक्टर. अभी क्या हुआ, डिटेक्टर्स पीछे दे हैव टेकन अ बैक सीट, बिकॉज वो भी बैक सीट ऐसे वॉलंटरी नहीं ले रहे, क्योंकि रूल क्या बताता है यूनिवर्सिटी का, नहीं भाई आपका 10% आया तो ही हम एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, बट नोबडी इज देयर टू हेल्प. आई जस्ट गिव अ स्टैंडर्ड केस. व्हेन आई वाज इन मुंबई, that time my friend, my very close friend, she was doing one PhD study. She did PhD from one university, and her topic was on labors, child labor. तो उसके सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट के बारे में उन्होंने एक स्टडी किया था, बहुत ही काफ़ी बढ़िया वर्क था वो. और एंड शी इज़ अ सोशल वर्कर ऑल्सो. तो जिस यूनिवर्सिटी में उन्होंने सबमिट किया वहाँ 40% प्लेजरिज्म आ रहा था, एंड एवरी टाइम शी चेक्स शी हैज़ टू पे 3,000 रुपीज़ फॉर चेकिंग. एंड वो बाद में 38 आता था, 35 आता था, 32 आता था. Then why it was happening? Because the person who was checking, who was not related to library science, who is not related to information science, who was not a guide, who was not a teacher, he is just a layman, a clerk. तो उनको काम क्या किया दिया था, इस चीज को आप चेक कीजिए, जो आता है उनको सर्टिफिकेट दे दीजिए. तो she was running from pillar to post, and when she approached me, I said that you approach a guide. तो सर गाइड क्या करेगा? I said that guide should give a justification as why it should be ignored, and guide gave an explanation. Still the university did not accept that. Then later she had to write to the vice chancellor, and later it was accepted and she was awarded. तो उनके केस में अभी भी स्टिल वो 40% प्लेजरिज्म है, वो प्लेजरिज्म नहीं है. तो आपका बेटा, आपका जो आंसर है, आप जो पूछ रहे थे क्वेश्चन, आपका यही है कि भले उसमें दिखाए, आप बिल्कुल डरना नहीं, आप अच्छा एथिकली ही आपको लिखना है, बट आप जो आपके मेंटर है, आपके गाइड के जो जस्टिफिकेशन है उसको.
सर मैं खुद गाइड हूँ.
अरे बाप रे. then you got the solution, I think.
Yeah.
गाइड को कभी भी कंफ्यूजन नहीं रहना चाहिए.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I understand.
Yes, please. Any other observation or comments or questions? हर्ष जी कुछ बोलना चाह रहे हैं?
Sir, you are such an observer. I was just registering myself. In long time, I haven't come across such a fine teacher as Santosh ji looks like. Such an informative talk it is. And there's hardly any question, just a few points of discussion. This copyright seems to be double-edged sword. It is, inhibiting the talent, inhibiting the creativity, inhibiting some innovations. Although it is required also. But the point is, like this, we have the Wikipedia, such an open source learning. Is it free of plagiarism?
Sir, you are asking the text or literature that we find in Wikipedia, is it plagiarized?
Because such a huge source and open source it is, so it must be at some place or other.
Sir, it should not be called as plagiarism because the citation standards are followed there. If you see Wikipedia, they follow number system.
Yes,
so
sir.
Wherein they cite everything, right? So that standard, ethical standard has been followed. Plagiarism happens when you do not acknowledge. Okay, so even on the Wikipedia, some text is there, but the source is not there. So that is plagiarized, right? So all these wikis and all these sources that are having any literature, that should acknowledge something, that should acknowledge the source. And as far as the quantity or the size or the length or whatever you say, so again here are some queries like if I use 10% of a book, okay, तो ये copyright violation हो जाएगा. For example, I have written a book of 100 pages and I can freely use 10% of the pages, and there are a lot of case studies on there. I have not added in this presentation, but that should not be taken as a rule of thumb that 10% ले लिया तो फिर तो चलता है, मीन्स कॉपीराइट नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है. So as far as Wikipedia is concerned, yes, the literature is crowdsourced. Anybody can add some value to that particular article, but provided they should cite it. Okay, when they are citing, that means they are following ethically. Okay, they are acknowledging the source, and the entire Wikipedia is running on open licenses only, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And another thing is, it just if you have knowledge about it, mushrooming the predatory journals, if they will die of their own death or something is coming up to contain this menace.
Sir, this is a wonderful question. The more we are creating hurdles, the journal publishers are also becoming very smart. They are finding a different way to launch themselves. So there are many things. Long back when I was in Mumbai, so I caught some publishers and I faced a lot of music. So that's the reason I left that, because in one of the lectures in HRDC in Mumbai University, I was speaking against some publishers. I was not naming them, and that was recorded and that was shared with the publisher, and then the publisher started warning me. The only issue is this, sir. This requires a lot of training, awareness, because as I said, Kelly Kobe's example, I shared an example of Kelly Kobe. Even the top-notch scientists of Germany, they fail to understand the fake journals because they are so brand new. They are so authentic. They seem very, very authentic that you feel like adding them. Let me give one more example. There was one sting operation of Dr. Fraud. Okay, that name of the sting operation was Dr. Fraud. What he did is he prepared his profile, fake profile, and he sent it to 350 publishers, saying, and actually he is not existent, saying that Dr. Santosh, he is Nobel laureate and all these things he wrote. He sent it to more than 350 publishers, and 30% of the publishers put him on board. Okay, so even the legitimate journals are also failing to understand how to rely on the editors, reviewers. And as you asked this question, that is there any way to curb? So the only thing is that rules are there, and even again here also we are grumbling. Teachers are grumbling every time UGC is putting here such rules, this rules, that rules. But it is a collective effort, I should say. And the important thing is that teaching training, that really helps us a lot. Unless and until the students are created awareness about what is ethical practice of research. That is the reason UGC came out with this research and publication ethics. But still, lot of work has to be done. And again, we have got a complaint from Western media that India is standing first in producing fake journals. That is absolutely not right. The second position is USA. That is very strange. There is a famous open access proponent, David Moher. He says that don't just blame India. Okay, India is not a hub for predatory practices. Even USA is also is one of the places wherein a lot of predatory journals are being produced, because when we see in American address, we feel that we need to publish there because we think that those are legitimate journals. So that is the reason the effort has to be made in all the angles, I should say, sir. Hope, sir, Ash, sir, I answered your question.
More than what I wanted. Thank you so much. You are such a nice speaker.
Yes, Rekha, Alka.
Sir, I want to speak something. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to my mentor, Professor Sanjeev Kumar, in the role of Principal, Mihir Bhoj College, who himself is an intellectual property, and we can call him a literary a lawyer, we can call him a academic, credit card, anything, any
Multifaceted.
pronounced
You have
adjectives
many a
are
time you have
less
copied
for
his
him.
intellect.
He is one in all, and we can say all in one. And I feel that this kind of workshop should be earlier, so that we can have patent of our mentor. And I think Mihir Bhoj College is very much lucky to have such an intellectual property, and they have learned through this workshop and have a patent, have a copyright of such. I would like to say this. And
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you.
thank you, sir. And I would like to join such workshops in future also. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Vijay. Yeah, Ravinder ji.
Hanji sir, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude and thank you to the dignitaries here, and a special thanks to the Professor Dr. Sanjeev Kumar for inviting me here, be part of this such a wonderful intellectual venture being conducted by the organizers of the college, where Sanjeev sir is holding such a prestigious position. He is such a learned personality. He all the time, he is epitome of this kind of ethics, I would say. And what we learn from him all the time, we try our level best to practice. My question is to Dr. Santosh, that wonderful session. Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us to give such a wide experience and wide knowledge to even broaden our horizons on the issue. Like nowadays, we all teachers and students are facing this problem of predatory journals and this copy and paste things. But the role of, as I've been watching one of AI, the artificial intelligence for content writing has emerging up, and to beat that things and to escape the route taking some kind of really becomes a difficult process. So I would like to have the comments from the expert, like how to save ourselves from these content writers. As I have written something and it has come out to these things, and some students are coming up with this writing technically, because the role of techniques and technology has gone that way. Thank you very much, sir. And I just want to ask that what is the role of AI here now?
Yes, absolutely. This is a wonderful question, and I did not discuss about plagiarism. That's the reason I did not speak about AI. Let me give a small example. New York Times is using AI reporters. Okay, this is a simple example, a very big headline. Many of the Western media is hiring AI-based reporters. You just give them the concept and the sources, and it will generate the article, as you rightly said. Now, the biggest threat for plagiarism world or the publisher is that AI-based articles are being written. So what you need to do is you need to give them a mind mapping. Mind mapping means for what? Professor Sanjeev Kumar sir gave me a topic to speak on IPR and open education resources for educators. So what I do is that I find out some technical terms associated with it, and I'll put it in this platform or AI-based platform, and it will write an article, and you can't make out whether it is written by a human or a machine. But still, to answer your query, there is a scope. There is a scope, because AI is not a Brahma. Okay, yes. AI is not a Brahma or any Maheshwara or something. The only Brahma is the human person or reviewer. Reviewer can catch anything. Reviewer catch anything. So that is possible. The only problem what's happening is that we are disregarding the reviewers, and the role of guide is diminishing because of these tools. Why it's happening? Because the rules are made in such a way that the rules take place beyond this particular mentor. So the solution is this, that the reviewer should be respected. The reviewer should review or go through the document, whether it is AI created or machine created. So in every angle, AI has come in. AI is a very, very scientific term. I should say that platform. For example, even for paraphrasing, you have a platform. Okay. so you can paraphrase it. Everybody can do that. The translation is also there. So even I should not give you this example. Recently, we launched one course, okay, communication skills and personality development, and we sent it for publication in a newspaper. Sanjeev sir, especially, I should tell Sanjeev sir this. So we are not knowing that the person will write in his own words. वो हिंदी में अपने आप लिखेंगे, समझे थे हम. बट मुझे समझ में आया कि वो भी स्मार्ट निकले कि वो भी गूगल ट्रांसलेट से कर दिया और वो कम्युनिकेशन को वर्ड को संचार करके वर्ड डाल दिया. तो सो दिस इज वेरी फनी एंड एम्ब्रेसिंग. मीन्स ऐसा है तो हम भी करके दे सकते थे उनको. तो यहाँ क्या हो रहा है मालूम है कि ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन इज मिसिंग. दैट इज द रीजन दैट शुड नॉट मिस. वी शुड रेस्पेक्ट. ओके, तो जो रिव्यूअर्स है उनको रेस्पेक्ट. आजकल ऐसी हालत हुई कि मैं लाइब्रेरियन हूँ. मैं मुंबई में भी देखा है, यहाँ भी देखा है कि बहुत सारे लोग रिसर्चर्स आके बात करते हैं, जाते वक्त एक बात बोलते हैं, सर मैं जो आपको बात किया ना किसी को मत बोलिए बोलते. Why they say? Because somebody will copy their idea. So actually research is not like that. Research is you need to share a lot about that. You need to talk more about that. So then only you can claim that okay this idea belongs to me. मैं एक बहुत बड़े हाई प्रोफाइल एक मीटिंग में बैठा था. संजीव सर को मैं बाद में बोलूंगा. वहां मेरा एक ही क्वेश्चन थी कि रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट सभी के जो अप्रूव हुए यूनिवर्सिटी में उसको शोध गंगोत्री में अपलोड करना चाहिए करके. शोध गंगोत्री इज अ प्लेटफॉर्म. यूजीसी ने तो वेरी वेल बोल दिया है कि उसको अपलोड करना चाहिए. देन XYZ people, I'm not talking about Central University of Haryana, I'm talking about some other university. Then high profile people they said that no, हमारा आइडिया चोरी कर लेंगे तो फिर क्या होगा फिर. तो so we are living in very primitive age. Okay, so बहुत ही हम ऑर्थोडॉक्स वे में जा रहे हैं जहां आपको मैं बहुत सारे प्लेटफॉर्म अभी ओपन करके दिखा सकता हूं जहां ओपन रिव्यू का कॉन्सेप्ट आया है, जहां प्री प्रिंट का कॉन्सेप्ट आया है, जहां मैं आर्टिकल लिखूंगा बट पब्लिशर को नहीं भेजूंगा, पहले मैं सबको शेयर करूंगा. So there are different ways to do research, but we do not know. We are still in that. Sorry, I took a lot of answer.
No, sir. Thank you very much. बहुत अच्छा लगा सर आपसे आपकी बात सुन के, और स्पेशली बहुत दिनों बाद संजीव सर को देखा है. और आप ये जो आपका ये शोध गंगा है ना सर, ये तो खुद भी भस्मासुर बन गया है. एक्चुअली ये उठाते हैं और उसको कॉपी और किसी तरह से टेक्निक से चेंज कर लेते हैं. वेरी एक्सीलेंट सेशन सर. सो नाइस ऑफ यू सर. थैंक यू वेरी मच. धन्यवाद सर. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Yeah, somebody else.
And so good afternoon as well, sir.
Yeah, Alka.
Good afternoon, sir. First of all, without taking much time, I would like to express that I personally believe that if Sanjeev sir is present in any workshop or seminar, that workshop is bound to become successful by his very presence only. Like, he is an intellectual and academic asset to us. And as Santosh sir mentioned in the very beginning of his deliberation, that his main purpose is to create awareness. And I think that he emerged successful in creating awareness regarding these intellectual property rights and copyright issues. So I really thank you, Sanjeev sir and his organizing team, for this wonderful seminar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alka. Yes, Sudhir sir, do you want to say something? Sudhir Malik ji? Anybody else? Any of my friends from the college?
Sir, now it's Mihir Board College turn to say thank you, to explain thank you. Sir, why don't you?
सर मैं कह रहा था, वो स्पीकर जरा ऑफ रह गया था, कि संतोष जी को तो एक शॉर्ट मॉड्यूल के लिए यहाँ बुला लो. कम्युनिकेशन स्किल के तो मास्टर लगते हैं. हम भी कुछ सीख लेंगे इनसे.
सर उनकी तो हर जगह जरूरत है.
सर हर्ष सर को डीएल पे भेज देंगे CUH में. चलो let's proceed.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Dr. Santosh ji. That was really a thought-provoking session. Rather, I should say an eye-opener. May I now request Dr. Rupam Soti ji to share her views on this session.
थैंक यू समय. संतोष सर, मैं आपको थैंक यू करने से पहले रेखा जी का ज़रूर उनके जो शब्द थे उनको फॉलो करना चाहूंगी. Rekha ma'am, you were totally right when you say that we have Dr. Sanjeev Kumar ji with us. So we are lucky enough to having principal like him. और
Thank you, ma'am.
जरूर इसके लिए मैं सर, am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am, you are
मेरी
audible.
आवाज आ रही? तो मैम यू आर टोटली राइट. और ये बिल्कुल सच है कि ऐसे सर के निर्देशन में हम लोग इस तरह की इनिशिएटिव ले रहे हैं और आगे भी लेते रहेंगे और आप सबको इनवाइट करते रहेंगे. मैं संतोष जी को थैंक यू करना चाहती हूँ. थैंक यू संतोष सर. इट वाज वेरी 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 इंफॉर्मेटिव एंड वैल्यूएबल एंड थॉट प्रोवोकिंग लेक्चर. Sir, we are feeling enlightened with your words of wisdoms. You very well explained the basic and broad concepts about copyright and plagiarism. Also, other issues related to the copyright. It will helpful for the teacher and the students also. Now we are able to understand real meaning of the educators and researchers. Also, you introduced the new meaning of TRP, that is teaching, learning, publication. You beautifully explained the concept of copyright versus copyrights and also difference between the copyright and the plagiarism. It will definitely going to helpful for the teachers, researchers and the scholars and the students. सर, इतने क्लिष्ट सब्जेक्ट को और इतने विस्तृत विषय को आपने इतने सरल और सादगीपूर्ण ढंग से अपनी मोहक आवाज में हमारे सामने प्रस्तुत किया कि मुझे लग रहा था कि हमारा क्वेरी वाला सेक्शन तो खाली जाने वाला है. बट थैंक्स टू माय फ्रेंड्स कि उन्होंने अपनी बातों को शेयर किया हमारे साथ. और सर, इफ यू अलाउ, वी कैन हैव अनदर लेक्चर section of your lecture of your on some other day, if you please allow us. तो हम वेट करेंगे कि आपका दोबारा हमसे लेक्चर के थ्रू कोई ऐसा इवेंट फिर से हम ऑर्गेनाइज कर पाए. आगे भी हम आपके साथ जुड़े रहेंगे, हमारे महाविद्यालय के साथ आप जुड़े रहेंगे और ऐसे ही गहन विषयों पर आप हमारा मार्गदर्शन करते रहेंगे. With these words, I thank you again, sir, with on behalf of my team, IQAC and Mihir Ghosh Parivar. Sir, thank you for being with us. Thank you, sir.
But the point is कि अमित कुमार जी went begging, उनके लिए किसी ने कुछ नहीं कहा.
सर, सर उनका थैंक यू आपको करना था. सर, I thank you अमित कुमार जी as well. सर, थैंक यू सो मच. आपने हमारे इनविटेशन को इतने शॉर्ट नोटिस में एक्सेप्ट किया और हमें अपने ब्यूटीफुल लेक्चर से एनलाइटन किया. थैंक यू सो मच सर. थैंक यू.
Sir, from my side, giving opportunity, I mean, I got the offer and get the opportunity to interact with Mihir Ghosh Parivar and Professor Sanjeev Kumar sir. So this is more than enough for me, sir. Sir, as I explained that Sanjeev sir is our mentor and like role model for us. So interacting, I mean, sharing the platform with Sanjeev Kumar sir is a great honor for us, sir. That is more than enough for everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I'm glad to inform you that we also have Dr. Ashok Gogia-ji, retired professor of geography and former finance officer of Central University of Haryana among us. I request Dr. Gogia-ji to say a few words of motivation to us. Please, sir.
सर नमस्कार, प्रणाम सर. सर आप म्यूट हैं. सर अनम्यूट कीजिए अपने आप को. सर अनम्यूट करो सर.
अब आ रही है सर आवाज?
हाँ जी सर. जी सर. प्रणाम सर.
प्रणाम सर. प्रणाम सर. अमित जी प्रणाम. संतोष जी से मैं मिला नहीं हूँ, उनको भी मेरी नमस्ते. संजीव जी ने मुझे कहा कि मैं कुछ शब्द कहूँ, तो मैं अपनी भाषा को बहुत ज्यादा समय नहीं लूंगा क्योंकि आप लोग काफी देर से अच्छी बातें सुन रहे हैं. तो मैं बहुत ज्यादा टेक्निकल नहीं हूँ, पर रोज सीखने का प्रयास जरूर करता हूँ. पहले मैं इस जो भी ये कार्यक्रम है उसके बारे में थोड़ी सी बात कहूँगा, फिर मैं डॉक्टर संजीव जी के बारे में बात कहूँगा और अब सबको अपनी शुभकामनाएं दूंगा. जब मैंने 5 से 7 मिनट लेट ऑन किया और अमित जी बोल रहे थे, तो ये प्रॉपर्टी के बारे में बात कर रहे थे और मैंने सोचा कि ये तो व्यक्ति केमिस्ट्री के हैं और ये बातें सारी आज फाइनेंस की कर रहे हैं, तो ये तो किसी दूसरे फील्ड में आ गए। बट फिर इन्होंने जब एकेडमिक प्रॉपर्टी की बात की तो मुझे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला। मैंने एक गाना सुना था, 2 ही लाइनें उसकी बताऊंगा कि दिल चोरी साडा हो गया हुण की करिए। तो जो भी प्रोडक्ट हम बनाते हैं, कोई रिसर्च करते हैं, कोई आर्टिकल लिखते हैं, कुछ काम करते हैं, उसके भी चोरी होने की संभावनाएं इतनी बढ़ गई, तो उसके लिए भी हमें कई तरह के लॉ प्रक्रिया या कोई लीगल प्रक्रिया या उसके कॉपीराइट या उसके पेटेंट, ये सब कराना अनिवार्य हो गया। तो ये सब चीजें हमारी समझ से पहले बाहर थी, परंतु मैंने आज बहुत कुछ अमित जी के जो भाषण था, ऐसे ही आते रहते हैं हमारे पास, मैं इनसे मिलता भी रहता हूँ, बट आज जो इन्होंने बातें बताई मैंने बहुत कुछ सीखा है और मुझे तो अब इसका शायद प्रयोग नहीं करना या ना ही कर पाऊं, पर जो जिस महाविद्यालय में मैं रजिस्ट्रार के रूप में कार्य कर रहा हूँ, वहाँ जो हमारी फैकल्टी है उनको मैं कुछ न कुछ इस बारे में जरूर बता पाऊंगा, और जहाँ नहीं बता पाऊंगा वहाँ हमारे कई प्राध्यापकों के पास इनका नंबर भी है और मैं भी इनसे रिक्वेस्ट कर लूंगा कि उनको थोड़ी ये चीजें बताएं। तो आई एम हाईली थैंकफुल टू अमित जी फॉर गिविंग सच ए गुड गाइडेंस how to procure our academic knowledge and how to make use of it and for the future constraints which are required for it. Then I will talk about Dr. Santosh ji, जो जिनकी प्रशंसा मैंने सुनता रहा हूँ। अमित जी से भी इनके बारे में बात होती रही है, but when I was in Central University, he was not there. Later on, he joined as a librarian. But really he is an asset for the university, और जिन्होंने उस विश्वविद्यालय की जो लाइब्रेरी है, पुस्तकालय है, उसको काफी आगे बढ़ाया और उसमें काफी ज्यादा प्रगति भी की है।
सर आपकी आवाज चली गई।
सॉरी सर, बीच में कोई कॉलेज से फोन आ रहा था, सॉरी फॉर दैट। तो मैं संतोष जी को इस बारे में बधाई भी दूंगा, क्योंकि जो लाइब्रेरी है दैट इज ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ द एनी इंस्टीट्यूशन एंड ही इज डूइंग हिज बेस्ट, एंड यूनिवर्सिटी इन महेंद्रगढ़ इज गेटिंग द गुड वर्क ऑफ हिम। एंड आई थिंक कि जो उस विश्वविद्यालय में शिक्षा के जो क्षेत्र है या एकेडमिक जो क्षेत्र है, उसमें उसकी उन्नति के लिए या उसकी प्रोग्रेस के लिए इनका बहुत बड़ा योगदान होगा। और जब भी कभी मुझे अवसर मिलेगा वहां जाने का, तो मैं इनसे जरूर मिलूंगा और मैं इनको कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट भी करूंगा विद एक मिठाई के डब्बे के साथ, दैट आई प्रॉमिस। तो जहाँ तक डॉक्टर संजीव जी की बात है, आप रियली मैं ये कहता हूँ जिस महाविद्यालय, आवाज आ रही है सर? हेलो,
आवाज नहीं आ रही।
आवाज नहीं आ रही? हेलो,
आ रही है सर, बात कीजिए।
अच्छा ठीक, थैंक यू सर। तो डॉक्टर संजीव जी को मैं बहुत पुराने से जानता हूँ, वो इंग्लिश के प्राध्यापक रहे हैं मेरे साथ। उसके बाद वो एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी में थे जब मैंने ज्वाइन किया, उनके पास डिप्टी रजिस्ट्रार का भी कार्य था। बहुत ही मेहनती है। अगर मैं अपने आप के बारे में कहूँ तो एज ऑन टुडे आई एम 67, स्टिल आई वर्क फॉर 8 to 10 hours इन द कॉलेज, और उसके बाद जो घर के काम है उनको भी मैं मैनेज करता हूँ, देख लेता हूँ, ऐसी कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। बट अगर मैं दूसरे शब्दों में कहूँ तो डॉक्टर संजीव इज ए पर्सन जिनको मैं ये कहता हूँ कि वो मेरे से ज्यादा मेहनती, ज्यादा काम करने वाले, ज्यादा सिंसियर, ज्यादा डेडिकेटेड। और उसका एक मैं छोटा सा एग्जांपल जिसको मैं कहते हुए थोड़ा सेंटिमेंटल भी हो जाता हूँ कि जब वहाँ वाइस चांसलर थे, इनको बहुत ज्यादा काम देते थे मेरे सामने, और जितना वो देते थे उससे ज्यादा करते थे। अब भी करते होंगे, तभी आप सब लोग इतनी इनकी प्रशंसा कर रहे हैं। और वो प्रशंसा सुन के मैं कितना खुश था, मैं उस बारे में आपको ज्यादा व्यक्त नहीं कर सकता। बट वंस इनके फादर बीमार थे और लास्ट स्टेज पे थे, हॉस्पिटल में थे, और रात रात को ये लैपटॉप पे फिर भी यूनिवर्सिटी का बैठ के काम करते थे, जो कि मैं नहीं करता। अब किसी व्यक्ति के जो फादर हैं, जब उनको पता है कि वो जाने वाले हैं या वो इस दुनिया में नहीं रह पाएंगे, और बेटे के लिए बाप बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट होता है, और उस समय उस विकट परिस्थिति में भी इन्होंने विश्वविद्यालय के लिए बहुत ज्यादा काम किया, जिसकी प्रशंसा करना या कुछ कह देना ही मात्र सफिशिएंट नहीं है। तो ही इज ए पर्सन जो कि जिस भी संस्था में है, जिस भी संस्था में रहेंगे, जिस भी संस्था में कार्य करेंगे, तो वो उसकी प्रशंसा करना बहुत छोटी सी बात है। परमात्मा करे कि जब तक कि इस आपके महाविद्यालय में है, तब तक उसकी प्रगति, ये आप जरूर कह सकता हूं मैं, कि ना इससे पहले हुई थी, हो सकता है आगे हो, पर मुझे नहीं लगता कि ऐसा व्यक्ति मिलना कोई आज के युग में आसान, क्योंकि हर आदमी अपने निजी स्वार्थों के लिए काम करता है, या उसका अपना कुछ ना कुछ ये होता है कि मैं अपना कुछ फायदा देखूं। पर इस व्यक्ति में कभी भी मैंने ये नोट नहीं किया कि अपने फायदे के लिए या अपने लाभ के लिए इन्होंने कोई कार्य किया है। जिसको पैसे का कोई लालच नहीं, जिसको कोई डेजिग्नेशन का लालच नहीं, जिसको किसी रिकॉग्निशन का लालच नहीं, सिर्फ काम ही पूजा है, और जो कि आजकल के युग में ऐसा व्यक्ति मिलना संभव नहीं है। इस वर्कशॉप के लिए मुझे भी कुछ सीखने का मौका मिला, और संजीव जी ने मुझे कहा, आई एम थैंकफुल टू हिम, आई एम थैंकफुल टू डॉक्टर अमित, आई एम थैंकफुल टू संतोष जी, और हर्ष जी है या प्रियंका जी है, डॉक्टर रूपम है, जिनके नाम मैं पढ़ पा रहा हूँ, मैं सभी का धन्यवाद करता हूँ। थैंक यू
सर, थैंक्स अ लॉट। मैं आपका परिचय अपने सेक्रेटरी सर से करा दूं सर। आपकी तरह ही मेरे गार्जियन यहाँ पे सेक्रेटरी सर हैं वेदपाल सिंह जी, और उनका वही सानिध्य मुझे प्राप्त है जो सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी में आपका सानिध्य मुझे मिला अर्ली ईयर्स में। और सर बीच में डिस्कनेक्ट हो गए थे, तो इस वजह से हम सर को नहीं देख पा रहे थे। सर ने फिर से ज्वाइन किया है। सर अशोक गोगिया जी हमारे प्रोफेसर ऑफ ज्योग्राफी होते थे पहले, फिर वो रिटायर हो गए, उसके बाद फाइनेंस ऑफिसर रहे सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ हरियाणा में, और वहाँ से भी जब सुपर एनुएशन हो गया था, तो उसके बाद अभी गुड़गांव में किसी कॉलेज में रजिस्ट्रार है सर। और सर इज़ वेरी डायनेमिक, वेरी ऑनेस्ट एंड रोल मॉडल फॉर मी। और सर से मैंने सुबह अनुरोध किया था कि सर अपनी फैकल्टी को आप ये सर्कुलेट कर दीजिए, तो फैकल्टी का तो मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन सर ने कहा मैं ज़रूर आऊँगा, तो सर ने खुद ज्वाइन किया, और सर का मैं स्वागत करता हूँ। और सर आपकी जो अपेक्षाएं हैं उन पर खरा उतरूँ, इतनी ताकत मुझे मिले, ऐसा मैं बस प्रभु से प्रार्थना करता हूँ सर। थैंक यू सर। और
अब तक आपके जितने भी काम हैं, उनमें मेरे पास 100 में से आपके 100 ही नंबर है, और मुझे कभी उम्मीद नहीं है कि वो 99.9 हो गए। दैट आई ट्रस्ट।
कोशिश करना सर। जी प्रियंका जी।
हाँ, हेलो,
नमस्कार सर।
जी सर, जी सर।
मेरी तरफ से भी गोगिया साहब को बहुत बहुत आभार उनका, उन्होंने अपने विचार रखे और आपके बारे में बताया। आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू हिम, और हमें पूरी उम्मीद है कि उनके मार्गदर्शन आप सब लोगों को मिलते रहेंगे। इसी उम्मीद के साथ पुनः मैं उनका आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। फिर से मुलाकात हो। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर। सर अभी आपका वक्तव्य होना है सर, आप लीव मत करना सर।
अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है।
जी सर,
आई एम ओवर हियर। ठीक।
प्रियंका जी प्लीज कंटिन्यू।
समय करें, समय प्लीज।
May I now please invite our respected principal sir for the concluding remarks. Over to you sir, please.
Thank you Samay ji. Honorable Secretary sir, Vedpal Singh ji, Professor Ashok Gogia ji, my friend Santosh ji, Dr. Amit ji, my senior faculty from MBPG College, participants, faculty and scholars, or very dear scholars of mine at Central University of Haryana. I could see these affectionate faces on this platform. Rekha, she did MPhil under me and then PhD, and now she is assistant professor in the government college. Ravinderji, he was our PhD student, and then of course he earned experience of teaching in many universities and colleges across the world. Ravinderji. Sanjana Antilji joined us, but somehow she has left now. Alka Nanda, she is there, very dynamic scholar of my department. Asi Thakran, I am proud of Asi, and she is so affectionate and so progressive in her attitude, and my affections to her. Radhika, Chitra Pegu, she is from Northeast, and of course, such a wonderful scholar of the department. Firdaus Nazir from Kashmir, and of course, he is pride for my department and for me as a teacher. And I could see some of the teachers from other colleges. I may not know them in advance, but yes, of course, I am now familiar with their faces. Dr. Sudhir Malik ji is visible, and of course, some Chandvir ji was there, and of course, some other teachers. One teacher was asking some questions, Ruchi ji. I, first of all, thank you for being the part of this very event. My very, very dynamic team of teachers at Mihir Bose PG College, and of course IQAC, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, that could make it possible that yes, of course, we expected that yes, such event should take place, and of course it's with the untiring efforts of IQAC that of course we could coordinate and organize this event in such a nice manner with such a huge participation. And of course, first of all, I would like to put on record my thanks for Vedpal Singh ji, my secretary, for entrusting me with the responsibility to take this college forward and to bring some quality initiatives here. And the trust that sir has put on me, and of course, the green signal which I get for every proposal which we put forward, that is just exemplary, and I don't know what other colleges and principals might be feeling. And people generally ask me, how do you feel? I may have many other different problems in addition to college, but yes, of course, when it is about management of the college, I don't have any hesitation to express my hearty gratitude that yes, they are just like, particularly sir. Sir is just like a fatherly figure, and who always motivates me to do better. And of course, he never says no to any of my agenda which suits my vision. And for that, sir, I am grateful to you. Hridesh ji is there, our librarian, and he is generally not happy with me. I don't have any hesitation because I am generally very harsh to him. And Hridesh ji, now you might be considering my approach, that you compare my librarian at Central University of Haryana and my long experience with him as to how dynamic my library team there is, and what do I expect from you. And it's only because of those expectations that I keep on like asking you to do better, to do more, and to do some quality work there in the library. Library is not simply issuing books and of course putting on record the books procured and of course going for writing off and going for reading out and all. Library is the heart of the institution, and of course we have experienced it there at my university that yes, of course, this is the fulcrum of educational activities. This is the fulcrum of educational activities, and if our library is poor, we can't expect the college to be richer. And that's why, Hridesh, I expect a lot from you. And I don't know how to express my feelings for Santosh ji and Amit ji. They are my younger brothers and younger friends, and we have worked day and night in the university for various quality initiatives there. Be it is for IQAC, be it is for National Education Policy implementation, and be it for any perspective plan which university used to prepare. And we three used to sit together without ever thinking of time. Time has never been a constraint for us, and of course, and we three used to be like that. That yes, of course, we used to give homework to each other. We used to give homework to each other, and of course, Amit ji is youngest among us, and Amit ji अक्सर आते थे डायरी लेके, सर कुछ काम बताओ, सर कुछ काम बताइए. और वो ऊर्जा जो है, मैं रूपम जी आप अक्सर IQAC को मैं टोकता रहता हूँ, प्रियंका जी को और समय जी को, प्रगति से मैं गुस्सा होता रहता हूँ. और this is the reason, because I'm not finding myself fit in the scheme where I used to have people around me asking for more and more, है ना. तो वो जो स्पिरिट हमें अभी आने लगी है कॉलेज में, उसको हमें कंटिन्यू करना है. और यस ऑफ कोर्स सर जानते हैं, वेदपाल सर जानते हैं, I don't have any other priority, and it's only with advice of Vedpal sir that I'm here. And I don't know for how long I'll be here, but still I have one thing to say, that yes, each day is an important day, and I start each day with the vision, and of course I want to conclude with the realization of the vision. That's what I feel, and that's the spirit I want to instill among my friends. यही है. और टीचर बनने के बाद मतलब क्या है, जैसे अशोक गोगिया जी सर हैं और वेदपाल सर हैं, इसी तरह मेरे पिताजी टीचर होते थे सर. और वो हमारी प्रॉब्लम क्या है, अभी जो लोगों को हम खराब लगते हैं वो इसलिए लगते हैं कि हमारी लर्निंग वो वाली है, ट्रेडिशनल लर्निंग है, जो हमें बार बार कहते थे, कुरेदते थे, ये गलत है और ये सही है, और वही आदतें हमें पड़ गई. देन सर माई एक्सपीरियंस एट गुरुकुल कुरुक्षेत्र, वो गुरुकुल में भी बड़ा ट्रेडिशनल एनवायरनमेंट था. तो ये जो 2-3, एक तो फादर का टीचर होना और उस ट्रेडिशनल एनवायरनमेंट में पढ़ना, and then having experience of teaching in Gurukula, तो then वो चीज मैंने मतलब बहुत deep rooted internalize में कर चुका हूँ, कि saying no to no and yes to yes, and of course going ahead with the vision for the institution, and that's very important. That brings results. Nobody can say कुछ नहीं होता, ये तो गलत है. हर जगह सब कुछ हो सकता है. Everywhere anything can be done. Only thing is teamwork. Only thing is collective efforts. This is what I believe in. And these two friends of mine who have delivered such a wonderful sessions today, and this is simply an example. There are like scores of people there, because that's a new university. Like we are also not very old that way. That way means because we have many things to add to our profile. That's why we should feel young. This institute is also young that way, because it has yet to add many things to its profile. And that's why in that young university, we were not many. And I joined that institution when we were only 5. And then I can understand as to how to like create things and how to put them together and how to take the help of everybody, starting from peon to the vice chancellor. And that thing, of course, works. And this organization, such a wonderfully conducted organization, and of course, professionally conducted organization of the event, it speaks a lot about the hard work that has gone into it. And Santoshji, I would simply say that you friends, you remain with me and keep motivating me in my new mission. And that's an energy for me and energy for my team. And my team is a very motivated team. And they are all so good, I tell you. And I keep on sharing it with Pulsar also, that my team of teachers is just a wonderful team. And I look forward to like giving them that environment where they can flourish like anything, and they feel proud that yes, they are the part of this college. We want to create that sort of environment. And I give example of sir, एक बच्ची यहाँ पे है इसी प्लेटफॉर्म पे, आप उनका आशीर्वाद जरूर देना. I give example of my student Rekha particularly. And Rekha, I must not share with because I know हमारी understanding बच्चों के साथ बहुत अच्छी है, इसलिए मुझे hesitation नहीं होते. Sir, she is a differently abled student of mine, and if you meet her, you will find कि वो बच्ची किस तरह से मतलब जीवन में संघर्ष करके यहाँ तक पहुंची है. मैं रूपम मैम से कल परसों बता रहा था कि वो यहाँ पे मेरे पास ये रखा है, ये फ्लावर पॉट रखा. दिस इज जस्ट टू रिमेम्बर रेखा. और ये दिस इज द मोटिवेशन फॉर मी कि रेखा सब कुछ कर सकती है तो मैं कुछ क्यों नहीं कर सकता. सर, शी इज differently able to the extent you can't imagine, है जी, वो बच्ची हाथ से चलती है और हाथ से चलती है। मैं उन दिनों को रेखा याद करता हूँ बेटा, when my office and my classroom used to be conducted at second floor, there was no lift, कोई लिफ्ट नहीं होती थी। एंड आई सिंपली आस्क्ड हर, सर गवाह है अशोक गोगिया जी, मैं उस बच्चे से पूछता था बेटा क्लास नीचे लगाऊं क्या? बोला नहीं सर, क्लास वहीं लूंगी जहाँ बाकी बच्चे क्लास लेंगे, जहाँ बाकी। सर सेकंड फ्लोर पे वो बच्ची रेंगती हुई सीढ़ियों से पहुंचती थी फॉर हर क्लास। तो इफ शी कैन डू इट, व्हाई कांट वी डू? वो बच्ची, मतलब हम कहते हैं ना, कल परसों मेंटर मेंटी की बात हो रही थी, कौन बड़ा है, तो मेंटीज बड़े हैं, स्टूडेंट्स बड़े हैं। वी लर्न ए लॉट फ्रॉम स्टूडेंट्स एंड जी, दीज आर आवर रियल स्ट्रेंथ। ये बच्चे हमारी बहुत बड़ी स्ट्रेंथ है जी। ये जैसे बच्चे हैं, अलका है, ये अपनी गीता फोगाट को मैं देख रहा था, ये जितने भी स्टूडेंट्स हैं, ये कोई ऐसा थोड़ा है कि मैंने उनसे कहा कि आपको ज्वाइन करना है, मैंने नहीं कहा। आई सिंपली पुट इट इन द ग्रुप एंड दे सिंपली सेड कि सर विल बी देयर। तो ये अफेक्शन है। रविंदर मुझे नहीं पता कितने साल, 7-8 साल हो गए होंगे व्हेन आई मेट हिम लास्ट, बट सिंपली वी गॉट द मैसेज एंड ही जॉइंड। तो ये अफेक्शन बच्चों का बनती है। एंड सर इसी तरह से आप बड़ों का मोटिवेशन मिलता रहे, देयर इज नो डाउट एनी।
बट सर आई वांट टू से समथिंग। जैसे अभी संतोष सर कह रहे थे कि उनकी बेटी जब स्केच बनाती है तो उसको टीचर एप्रिसिएशन चाहिए होता है। तो मेरे टीचर ऐसे थे कि वो मतलब कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है, पीएचडी एमफिल स्टूडेंट के पास तो फ्रस्ट्रेशंस बहुत सारी होती है, और खासकर मेरे जैसे स्टूडेंट के पास जो लाइब्रेरी में बुक्स भी अपने आप नहीं ले सकता है ऊपर की शेल्फ से। और हमारे जो सर हैं, मैं ये कहूँगी कि वो मोर देन फादर हैं, कि उन्होंने एक गाइड का रोल नहीं निभाया कि सिर्फ टीचिंग दी और चलो। नो, जब और टीचर्स ऐसे थे हु डजंट वांट टू बी माय मेंटर, तो उन्होंने सेलेक्ट किया कि मैं रेखा का गाइड बनूंगा। ओके, उसके बाद वो टीचर हैं कि लाइब्रेरी में जाके बुक्स को नीचे रख के आते हैं कि बेटा आपके लिए ये बुक्स मैंने नीचे रख दी है, आप वहां से ले लेना। अच्छा, आप कहाँ पर हो, आपका राइट अप वहीं पे पहुंच जाएगा। सो वो स्पोर्ट था सर। तो मेरी डिसेबिलिटी तो कहीं आई नहीं उसमें बीच में, क्योंकि आपका स्पोर्ट इतना ज्यादा।
You are an example for others to follow. That's very, very important. And on this very platform, I simply urge upon my faculty to please, for God's sake, internalize some a very high vision about the institute and about yourself, and then pursue it meticulously. And you are no doubt unique, and you have all talent, and you have all like whatever you call it, potential, or whatever you call it, academic. Means you can achieve anything you like to achieve. And like you are good researcher, you are good innovators, you are good like activist in terms of academics and all. I have all good feelings about you, but the only thing is, yes, of course, we need to put in collective strength. That's very important. Santoshji, I must say that, yes, of course, I'm very proud of you, that, yes, you are always associated with my agenda, maybe at CUH or maybe at this college. And Amitji, my young friend, you be with us, and I enjoyed your lectures because these are not new for me, and that's why I won't speak anything on your lectures because my friends have already talked about. And Sir Ashok Gogia ji hai, when I used to be in difficulty, like you are here with Pal sir जैसे यहाँ पे हैं, तो वहाँ पे जब शुरू के दिनों में जब मुझे कोई दिक्कतें होती थी, तो he used to work, he used to act as a father figure. और मैं सर को हमेशा याद करता हूँ अच्छे बुरे दिनों में, और सर मुझे बहुत अच्छे से आशीर्वाद देते हैं। सर मैं बड़ा जो ना ऋणी महसूस करता हूँ, आप इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे हैं। अशोक सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, वेदपाल सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, और आगे की कार्रवाई के लिए मैं प्रियंका जी को रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा। नमस्ते।
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, they were really motivating, and my takeaway, apart from that Rekha's inspiration, my takeaway is कि अब मैं अमित जी की तरह हर रोज शाम को डायरी लेके आपके पास आऊंगी, भले आज का काम खत्म नहीं हुआ, पर सर कल का काम बता दो।
जी जी जी, थैंक यू।
I'll try to meet the expectations. I'll really try hard. Now, before proceeding, may I request the resource person Santosh sir and Amit ji, can you please share your PPTs with us? That will be really helpful.
Sure, I'll share, madam.
Madam, I'm just sharing now.
Thank you very much. Now over to Samay sir, please proceed.
धन्यवाद प्रिंसिपल सर। कोशिश करेंगे आपकी अपेक्षाओं पर खरा उतरने की। और अब मैं अपनी कॉलेज प्रबंध समिति के सचिव महोदय से प्रार्थना करूंगा, अनुरोध करूंगा कि वो अपने वक्तव्य से हमें कृतार्थ करें। वेदपाल जी।
हेलो,
जी सर।
सम्मानित डॉक्टर अशोक गोगिया जी, हमारे कॉलेज के प्राचार्य और इस कार्यक्रम के पैटर्न डॉक्टर संजीव कुमार जी, इस कार्यक्रम में जिन और डॉक्टर्स ने हिस्सा लिया है उनमें डॉक्टर अमित कुमार जी, डॉक्टर संतोष जी, मेरे कॉलेज की प्रोफेसर्स डॉक्टर प्रियंका यादव, डॉक्टर रूपम सोती, मिस प्रगति सिंह, मिस्टर समय सिंह। एक्चुअली मैं बहुत समय तक आपके साथ नहीं जुड़ सका क्योंकि मैंने बताया था प्रिंसिपल साहब को मुझे यहाँ कुछ जरूरी काम थे, उनमें जाना पड़ा, लेकिन थोड़े समय के लिए पहले जुड़ा था और अब कोशिश की है। तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा जितना मैंने सुना, और विशेषकर जो लोग इसमें पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं वो सारे लर्नेड लोग हैं। बहुत अच्छी बात है, एक दूसरे से जुड़ने पर एक दूसरे के विचारों का पता चलता है, और हम एजुकेशन के लिए विशेषकर अपने कॉलेज लेवल पर क्या अच्छा कर सकते हैं, किस तरह से हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को ज्यादा से ज्यादा लाभान्वित कर सकते हैं इस तरह के कोर्सेज से। जैसा ये आपका नेशनल वर्कशॉप हुई है, इसी तरह के ओरिएंटेशन कोर्स होते हैं, ट्रेनिंग भी होती है, और ईश्वर करे कभी हम सब लोग बैठकर एक साथ फिजिकली एक साथ बैठें और तब इस तरह के कार्यक्रम करें तो बहुत अच्छा लगेगा। अशोक गोगिया जी जुड़ गए, मैंने पहली बार संजीव कुमार जी के द्वारा उनके बारे में सुना है। मुझे ये सुनकर उनके दर्शन करके बड़ा प्रसन्नता हो रही है कि एक अच्छे व्यक्ति, एक विद्वान व्यक्ति भी हमारी इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में जुड़े हैं। तो अंत में मैं आप सब लोगों का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं, आपको शुभकामनाएं देता हूं, और ये ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करता हूं कि आप सब लोग सुखी रहें और इसी तरह के कार्यक्रम आप आयोजित करते रहें, जिससे हमारा कॉलेज, हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी और पूरे देश में हमारा जो शिक्षा का पैटर्न है वो अच्छा बने, उसमें कुछ अच्छाइयां आए। इसी के साथ मैं आप सबका आभार व्यक्त करते हुए आपका धन्यवाद करता हूं। थैंक यू ऑल, थैंक यू। ओके,
धन्यवाद सर। हम भी उम्मीद करते हैं कि कोविड की पैंडेमिक से जल्दी ही हमें राहत मिले और इस तरह के एकेडमिक इवेंट्स हमें फिजिकली ऑर्गेनाइज करने का मौका मिले। अब मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा प्रगति सिंह जी से कि वो वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए आगे आए। मिस प्रगति सिंह, ओवर टू यू मैम।
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Okay. So, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, Pragati Singh, co-coordinator, IQAC Mihirpoj PG College Dadri, on behalf of the entire college and management fraternity, first of all, extend my very hearty gratitude to the Almighty for continuously blessing and guiding us. I extend my sincere thanks to our distinguished chief guest, Shri Vedpalji, Secretary, Management Committee, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind presence and for your kind words for motivating us. We have also been fortunate enough to have eminent persona of Dr. Ashok Gogiaji, retired professor of geography and finance officer, Central University of Haryana, among us. Thank you so much, sir, for your graceful presence and for your motivating words. And now I would like to specifically thank our eminent resource persons, Dr. Santosh Sir, University Librarian, Central University of Haryana, and Dr. Amit Kumar from Department of Chemistry, Central University of Haryana, for accepting our invitation and making an excellent presentation on intellectual property rights and copyrights and plagiarism issues, and making this workshop a very meaningful, interesting, and an interactive one. We must mention our profound sense of appreciation to our both valued speakers for sharing with us their crucial work and thought-provoking ideas. I am sure we all must have been benefited from such an enlightening session and have acquired a much clearer perspective and deeper insight
into the matters related to IPR, copyrights, and plagiarism. Further, I express a big thank you to our beloved principal sir, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar. I guess I'm in short of vocabulary in his praise because it's just like we got a gem in you, sir, and we are so much thankful to you for constantly supporting us, motivating us, guiding us uh, throughout this event, not just this event, but in almost every task, every sphere of this college. An event of this dimension can't happen overnight and needs meticulous planning and execution, and an eye for detail. So I extend my sincere thanks to the IQAC team, the key body, and the backbone behind this event for its crucial role and since the very beginning of this event. And I would like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Priyanka Yadav, co-coordinator IQAC, and Dr. Rupam Soti ma'am, NAC coordinator and co-coordinator IQAC, for taking the initiative of organizing this workshop and constantly striving hard towards its success from the very beginning. I would like to thank Mr. Samay Singh Meena for being the steering wheel of this event from the very beginning. I cannot thank everyone enough for their involvement they have shown